Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Juices Loose. I do not know what the fucking podcast number is. Too bad. It's fine. We're just moving on without it. It's a new episode of the Juices Podcast. I'm hosting tonight. So yes, get your waifu pictures out. Don't give a fuck what it is. Whatever you into, furry, I'm not here to judge. Just put it out there and we'll roll with it. I'm serious. If y'all want to throw some picture links in the chat, let's go. It's sharing is caring. Tweet me. You know my damn tag. Anyway. I had some internet connection issues. That's why we started a little bit later, and also because Juice was a lazy bastard and didn't know what the hell he wanted to do today. This man literally told me the other day, said, "Hey man, I guess you're hosting the Juices Loose." The fuck? He's been out here playing with these rocket cars and he's been doing nothing important with his life.
And you got a good show planned for us, so it all worked out.
I have a good show. But first, before we get to what I have, so we have the question that needs to be asked, the most important thing. Robert, first impressions, Octopath Traveler.
God.
Did you think I forgot? Did you think I was going to let you get away with this?
Well, all right.
How long did you play it, Robert?
Not a lot, not a ton.
I know you didn't.
Again, I did play after the podcast last week.
Well, you had to.
And it's good for what I played so far. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. It's not. I hate saying my hours because then people are like, "Whoa," but it's like.
I mean, how long did you play it, Robert?
I'm not sure, but it's not a lot. It's not a lot. But what I played, it's fun. It's been a busy week.
Oh God!
Well,
do you at least remember who you picked?
I was gonna say that, yeah.
I'll be honest. I don't know his name, but it's the guy who's very nice and he's helpful and he's like a doctor in a way.
Oh, okay. Aleph, I think I pronounce his name.
Yeah, I guess.
An apothecary. I know what you're talking about.
My obviously my super damn early impression of that it's a crazy good looking game. That's for sure. And I like, I really actually like the voice acting. The voice acting pretty damn solid. So what I've seen, which is pretty nice. And what I've played, it's fun. But my biggest complaint, I don't know if you get it later on, but like I'm so used to seeing like health bars for enemies and shit, and I see, at least what I've seen, I don't think there's no indication on like when the enemy's about to die. I don't know, maybe you guys can tell me if there is, but like to
I
me
haven't run across it yet.
There's not, right? So it's like that's kind of a pain in the ass to me. I hate the fact that I feel like it's like, damn, this is like the 10th fucking time. Are they gonna die yet? And I can't really tell. And I know I haven't heard anyone say that, but it's probably just because I like to know. But
usually in games like this, I haven't seen it yet, but you get at one point a character or whatever who has like scan magic or something that you can analyze characters.
Something
but
like that.
I don't know if we're gonna get that because you see weaknesses already, so it's kind of weird how they do it.
Yeah. But I mean, it's pretty good so far. I gotta play away.
For the 5 minutes you played it, I know you enjoyed it.
Ever get.
He's not. I honestly don't think he's gonna pick it up after like another week or so, and then that's it. It's gonna be over.
Unless there's another game. I don't think there's another game coming out.
I
don't remember there being any other game for a while.
I don't think we really got any games until like what is it, September?
Yeah, not for a while. So
yeah, you got time. That doesn't mean you're gonna. You got other responsibilities and interests. I know. Mm-hmm. We all know.
Because we won't stop interest right now. I'm staring at his interest right now.
Wow, that sounds really weird out of context, right?
I know.
You know the context, but they don't know the context.
That's fine. I like that they don't know.
Juice is the type to roll up his windows in the middle of the night and look at his neighbors and be like, "Oh, see, the husband just got home from work. Oh, I wonder how the wife is doing. Oh, she's wearing her low-cut V-neck today. Oh, let me just casually reach for that lotion bottle at the top of the counter."
If I had a good-looking neighbor, maybe.
Oh, yeah, that's all relative. There's only so much we can do about that. I'm sorry, Juice. I apologize. Now, I was gonna say, retro update. How far are you in the game?
I actually I'm at my second character now. I just started walking a random direction. I like it how there's all these hidden walls and shit. So I'm just looking for chests and shit, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay, here I have to go. So I'm in the second town now. I think her name. They made some. It's like I want to say Tessa, but it's not. It's like Tressa or Tersa or whatever the fuck it was. I forgot now. Yeah, Tressa. Okay, it's like what is it? Are there? Anyway, so I come in that town with the character I started out with Primrose, and I'm like, looking at how strong all the villages are, because my old guy that was fighting for me, he like dove in front of the enemy and he basically died and he ran away, so he didn't come back anymore after that. So I needed a new person. So I'm in the store. I'm like, holy shit. The store clerk, he has like strength 4, he's super strong, like a 35% chance. I'll take it. And apparently, I met Tressa afterwards. Apparently, I took her dead in my team. Didn't even know that shit yet. So
like,
I got her.
You a hoe, Retro.
No, but I love this shit because characters, they don't just fight. They're like strong and they like take bullets for you and shit. Like, and Primrose needs it because she is weak as fuck. I have her at level 8 or 7 now, I think. And when I have Tressa, her level 1 attacks are just as strong as Primrose's level 7. Like, she is weak, Primrose. It's crazy.
Yeah, Primrose, I think is more made for a support role, so she doesn't really do well just throwing out hits.
Yeah, and that's not bad once you have a second character in your team or you get a hang of the support shit. But if you're all alone with Primrose, man, she is seriously like every battle is a real battle and shit.
Hey, listen, some people want to be all alone with Primrose, all right?
I think I felt like at this point I have encountered one. Personally, I see it a flaw in the game, which I don't really like. I like it when you have a game like what Xenoblade 2 does, where you see how strong an enemy is, where you are and stuff. Or if you have a game like, I don't know, Breath of the Wild, and they block an entrance like you can't go here yet. But the thing with Octopath Traveler is that there's only one way you can basically go, and every other road is like level 40 and plus level 20 and plus, like it gives you the illusion that you're free, but you're not actually free, and I don't like that too much in the game.
To be fair, you can make it through those areas if you're smart about your strategies, because I've actually done that. I'm like near level, I think Ophelia is like the only character at level 20 on my team right now. I can make it through those areas. I just have to kind of do some high tier strategies to get through it.
Man, there was no time for strategy for me. I went into this cave, I level 15 cave, and I was level 8. I have my grandpa with me. This bitch ran away in the first fight, 5 enemies. I was dead on the spot.
How dare you, Retro? Oh my goodness. Clock, did you have the game, right?
I do.
How are you enjoying it?
I've after I finished the greatness that was Hollow Knight, I decided to dedicate myself to Octopath. Now I'm gonna play nothing else but this game. So I got about 7 or 8 hours into it, and I don't know about everyone else, but I'm just in love with it. Retro was talking about I think it's Retro, sorry, but someone saying you can't see their health and stuff, and that doesn't bother me at all. It's
that was Robert, you bitch.
Retro, man. It's still the hate from earlier on Twitter. Nah, I'm playing. But
hey, let's chill out.
No, I'm absolutely loving it. It's old, it's new. I've just got Ophelia. Like that Snowy Kingdom and stuff, and I absolutely loved her story. Like I said, all the stories, all individual. Some can be deeper, others can be more whimsical and stuff, which I'm actually loving in the game. And Ophelia's, I actually found quite touching. I've been jumping between English and Japanese voice acting, but I think I'm going to stick with English because the voice acting is actually pretty good. But yeah, the battle system, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Grandia 2, the old active time battle where you can see the enemy's placements and you'll try and get it counted in this case being the break and stuff, and you can strategize like that, which I absolutely loved. But I mean, the music in this game, oh my god. You guys, you got a sample CD, in your limited edition in the US, and we didn't get jack. So I need to try and find the soundtrack for this game because I absolutely love it.
Some of those themes they sound like straight like Ghibli fucking shit and everything, and the music is so good. And I'm like, I'm looking at my special edition. Just being salty that it didn't get the soundtrack with it.
Now, does this game have the video capture or just screenshots? Anybody?
Just screenshots it out and try video capture it.
I gotta say.
I mean, the
Looks like
screenshots
enough
are
to-
phenomenal on
I
Twitter.
have
Even-
high
Oh,
hopes
is-
for this game, though. Now, in the beginning, I had no expectations except I want to have this game that looks good and it plays cool. But I've had some dialogue in this game, and this shit is gonna get dark really fast, man. I don't know, with
Yeah,
Primrose,
yeah,
and she's talking to this dude, and this dude is literally saying, "You should put your mouth on my dick," ass," and she's all like, "Go fuck yourself." I'm like, "What?"
I saw your tweet. I was rolling. I was like, oh my god.
It's
To be
so
fair, Primrose
fucking
is probably one of the darkest
explicit,
stories.
this game.
Yo, that's
It's proper
awesome.
old school, man. It's like if you remember in Final Fantasy VI, there wasn't stuff quite as bad as that. But one of my favorite lines from Final Fantasy VI is when Cyan, he's like in a bar and like he got this barmaid trying to hit on him and stuff, and he's like, "You get away from me, you licentious howler," stuff like that. It's just it's just never left me, and it just cracks me up. So you could feel just square in this game. That square that we've been longing for. It's great.
Because Final Fantasy VI is also one of my favorites, but that's still kind of like old-fashioned kind of shit. But in this shit, this dude is calling me a whore every fucking line, man. You fucking whore, suck my dick, you whore. And he's actually saying this shit.
Since
I
I
feel like you're way more excited about this than you probably should be.
he's like, okay, I will.
to be fair, Primrose is probably one of the darker stories. Like even the ones I've done so far, I think the only character that comes close is like Obrix, which is because I think I have like 6 out of the 8. I still got to get Therion the Thief, and I still got to get Cyrus, Pretty Boy Cyrus. But Obrix is probably the closest thing. The rest of them are pretty lighthearted overall. I mean, compared to Primrose. Primrose is dark as fuck. Like before the first boss battle. Well, I guess that'd be kind of a spoiler. I won't say that. Retro knows what I'm talking about, though.
That was in the first demo.
But exactly, it's that kind of shit, and you play with Tress, and like, "Oh, mommy, daddy, we run a store together, yay!" And I just came from this fucking whorehouse bullshit. It's like, whoa, this is
Yeah, you went to like it's a mood whiplash, sir.
So I haven't played the game, but I did watch Digital Foundry's little analysis, and some people would probably watch that and come away with, "Oh my god, it's negative," but they were like, the dude was just like repeatedly saying how gorgeous this game looks, and that's actually using a lot of advanced effects and stuff from Unreal Engine. So, but it's like, how can anyone look at that and not be like wowed by the art direction? Like it's just like the visual. Beautiful. The effects, like it's in such good, like the harmony of the effects with the 2D, 3D stuff, like the pixel art looking, like it's super impressive.
I love like the pixel trees blowing and stuff. If you actually looked at the background, just sat there and watched it, the trees blowing and
yeah, nice with the cloth
sparkle on the water and
yeah, it's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah,
flags actually have
like the fire looks really real as well. If you look like the lanterns or the flames.
Oh, yeah,
and stuff,
the lighting.
Yeah,
not that this is important, but like it's not just an animation for flag blowing in the wind. It's like completely physics based. So it's like never repeats,
Today was the first time I was actually blown away graphically by the game because I like this style. It's something you either like or you don't, or you liked it. But I was walking out of the desert somewhere, and then you get to like this small beachy areas with palm trees and water, and that fucking sand looks so good. Like the
Sparkling sand,
like
man.
Yeah, it looks like real fucking gold. That shit looks so beautiful.
like real gold.
Man
Man
was
was
ejaculated in his pantaloons.
Oh my goodness.
It gave me
Like-
that feeling like what I once said the first time I played Morrowind and I saw the rain on the water. That sand gave me that effect where I'm like, holy shit, like graphics can still blow me away in a game like this. It looked like it was like a real life miniature kind of set, It looked so good.
Yeah, what do they call those?
You had to go and ruin it and mention Bethesda, didn't you? We were all happy just now.
Man, it's messed up.
So again, I haven't played the game. One more comment about the art style stuff. If Nintendo's 2D Zelda team's working on something for the Switch, and it doesn't have to look exactly like that, but if it looks like very safe, like I'd be super disappointed if it doesn't try something like this, like because this is how I'd want a 2D top-down type Zelda, like a Link to the Past, Link Between Worlds Zelda to look.
And
Like
they've
on the
all
Switch.
mastered Unreal, so should be no problem to make something.
But you know, I still think Full Swords on the GameCube looks lovely. I think that game looks great.
Yeah, but
Like
I don't want to see
Wind
like
Waker effects.
just HD version of A Link to the Past. Like I want to see them take it to this level that Octopath did, and I want to be. I want to be wild.
I wouldn't expect anything as extravagant because Octopath is a lot more static than Zelda, which is a lot more action focused. Ironically. So I don't think it'll look exactly the same. I think it'll probably look lower tiered, but I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah, they need to step it up. Like they can't come out with a Kirby looked pretty good. Like it looked really good, but
I reckon Zelda would blow away Octopath when they get onto it.
Yeah, if they do what they're capable of, it should. There's no excuses really for if they do a 2D. They might not, but I think Red Knight thinks.
Would you want a 2D one?
Yeah, I love Link Between Worlds. I'd like another take on that.
Yeah, top-down Zelda. Hell yeah.
That's my favorite. Link to the Past is like right there with Breath of the Wild for me. Like I'd love to have another game like that.
But I actually wanted to give. I tell you have the game. I didn't want to ignore you. Any updates, so to speak?
Sorry, I just sneezed.
What? You blew me away.
It's alright, the game's alright, No, you kidding me? This game is fucking amazing. What can I say that hasn't already been said? Pretty much, Clock that jumped in here and took everything I was gonna say, even with the Grandia 2 stuff. Thanks.
Sorry, man.
But yeah, the music is just phenomenal. Obviously, the visuals are great. I like the battle system. I see where you're coming from on the not knowing what your enemy's HP is at. Sometimes that bothers me in the longer fights. And I'm like, oh no, what when I start getting down in my items and like, oh, how much more? But that actually kind of it adds to the suspense of it. So I'm cool with it.
There's one feature I truly appreciate in this game though.
What's up?
The fact that when you level up, you regain all your HP and SP.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that is great.
Yeah.
I love that. So
more RPGs need to do that. Damn it.
Yes, they do. Yeah, this is like they said. Obviously, this is a throwback kind of RPG. Reminiscent of Final Fantasy VI and all that kind of stuff. But it does do some more modern stuff with it. Obviously, the visuals are more modern than just kind of the flat sprites you're used to. But I don't know what else can I add to it. It's a great game. I'm probably like 15 hours or so in. I've been I don't want to say mostly, but I've been grinding a lot. So I have 3 characters. I have Tressa, Cyrus, and Ober. What's his name? The warrior. Oberic. Thank you. I was saying Oberon for some reason. Oberic, yes. And his story's pretty cool. Like this game really reminds me of like if Game of Thrones came out in the mid '90s and they made a game based on it. This kind of feels like that's what it would be. With the,
that's a good comparison. Actually.
It really feels like that.
The intro to Game of Thrones has that diorama kind of feel to it.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that part. Yeah.
But just watching like a GIF of it, like the cloud shadows going across, like it's so amazing what they did with the visual, the engine, and the art direction. It's just like a perfect blend of technology and design and art, artistic design. Like I know I keep talking about the visuals because I haven't played it. So I played the demo way back, but I can't believe that a game came out in 2018 that looks like this, and not a negative, like I'm so happy that something like this
and it's getting a lot of love. Like,
mm-hmm.
It's one thing if it came out and it was okay and people, oh yeah, that was cool. but it's like getting a lot of love and sales. So.
Once you started playing it as well, you could see why they done the limited edition pop-up book as they did. It made no sense to me, first of all, why they done a pop-up book. But when you're actually playing the game, it does really feel like a pop-up book in some respects when you actually look at the art style. The background's blurred when you move in or when you go indoors and stuff. It just feels fucking lovely. And when you talk about Albrecht, one of my favorite lines is "My sword is unbending." It fucking charges up. I love all the little quotes in this game.
That man's a gangster. That's what it is.
He's a G, man.
But I kind of just wanted to get that out of the way, mainly to expose Robert, because
one thing I will say.
What? I didn't hear Robert. He didn't play.
He played it like for an hour, and that's it.
Oh man.
What they will say also though, is that from what I've heard, the music's pretty.
I know because
nice.
when you heard it, yeah, like the 5 minutes.
The music is phenomenal. It's yeah. I clocked it. You said you didn't get Jack in your special edition. That's exactly what you got. You got jacked because he jacked you out of the damn CD, which is awesome. So, well, no, it's not awesome. The CD is awesome. I'm not saying it's awesome that they jacked you out of it.
About time.
It's messed
About
up.
time we got something better.
Oh, it goes back and forth. Sometimes they get good stuff and we get pissed off, and sometimes we get good stuff and they get pissed off. So.
Yeah, but most of the time Americans get screwed. That's the big issue.
I think we're a little biased.
We are biased because we fucking lose.
I feel especially during the Wii U era, America got royally screwed.
Yeah, and definitely during the Wii U era. I just don't think overall we get screwed. I think just that, especially that era, we got royally screwed.
When you think of limited editions, though, when you think of limited editions, I mean, Nintendo kind of only really started picking up pace during the Wii and the Wii U generations. If you think of like special edition games and stuff,
I guess a lot of it has to do with the fact that I probably started even caring about special editions like maybe 8 years ago. So I haven't, it hasn't been that long where I'm like, oh yeah, we got screwed out of the special edition. So maybe if you look over the whole course of special editions and whatnot versus the West and East, maybe then, but
the struggle is always real.
Yeah, we're not a room for that shit anyway. Like I'm like, don't know if I'm gonna be buying too many more of those.
Well, yeah, because eventually your wall's gonna have to say something about it. Like, bro, I'm out here dying, y'all. You got me out here dry as a bone.
We'll just
Give me some time, get a few paychecks in. God damn it!
We'll just get a new house and get more room. That's all.
Oh,
my fucking gamers club. I've had that the last year of my gamers club, and I bought like one game so far, and it's year's half over. I'm like, fuck. Like I mean, I'm not gonna just buy a game just to use my gamers club, but it does suck that for me, I haven't really had much chance to take advantage of it as much as I'd like.
Yeah, you're running out of time, right?
Yeah, I got till late January, I think, 2019. So
I got like almost summer.
So Smash will be in there.
It's like Smash. That's it.
I'll probably get fuck. I'm gonna get Ori and Rise of the Tomb or Shadow of the Tomb Raider on PC. Maybe I'll get the physical, quote unquote, physical PC version and see if I get the discount from Best Buy.
Is there a physical PC version for
they usually are. I just don't know if Best Buy ever sells them.
No, that's true.
Robert buys physical PC, even though it's not. It's just a code.
Yeah, but it's cool to have the box.
Still got that box.
I got the box.
The box.
That box is cool, dude.
That's some bullshit, man.
I like the box, man. I like
the disc.
Yeah. Disc is nice.
All right, we've devolved into insanity. Move on. Anywho, so the first topic I wanted to talk about was this concept that people have been bringing up. It's like, oh, well, the Switch is going to be like Nintendo's handheld and console. We're going to go under the assumption that they're going to do what they've done with their handhelds and come out with a revision every few years. And a lot of people are like, let's get a Nintendo Switch Mini. And when I thought about it, I never understood what that really meant, because at the end of the day, because the charging port for the Switch is at the bottom, what is a Switch Mini exactly? The fact that I can't detach the Joy-Cons, or the fact that it won't fit in the dock anymore? So I thought it'd be fun for the hell of it to figure out if we were gonna get a new like Switch revision. First off, do you think it would be like a new Nintendo 3DS XL kind of a change, or like a Nintendo Switch Mini idea? And do you think we need a revision at all hardware wise? Yeah.
Nintendo's only done a mini once. They did the Game Boy Micro and Game Boy Advance Micro, and guess what? That failed. They've always gone bigger. I don't know where this idea of a mini Switch came from.
I think because people think, oh, we need to. If we're gonna make it cheaper, we'll have to dial it back. Like that's the idea.
That'll cost.
It's going to cause so many problems.
Cost more.
Well, no, I'm just saying. Well, I know, I agree. I'm just saying that's just the thought.
Yeah,
and I was saying online.
I'd argue that they haven't always gone bigger because you had the original Game Boy Advance, and then you had the SP, which was essentially smaller.
Yeah, that's the only generation that
you had the original DS. You had the original DS, which was a beast of a thing, and then you had the DS Lite. You know, so they've always refined them. So I don't think it's a case of big or small. It's just refinements, and those refinements can come in many different variations depending on what Nintendo want to focus on in terms of that refinement.
The only refinement I want is fucking ergonomic Joy-Cons, and I'd be happy, if they're only just going to do a slight revision, then that to me would be, they're not going to, because there's all these flat Joy-Cons out in the world, and to also have an ergonomic one would probably maybe piss some people off. I don't know, but that to me, like, what are you gonna do? Shrink the screen? I mean, they're gonna put a 1080. They're gonna put a 1080p screen on it. They're not gonna. I mean, I don't know they could make it look a little bit sleeker, maybe change the plastic.
I actually think that's where they would probably go if they went anywhere. It'd be a 1080p screen. And because we have the 3DS, it has more powerful hardware, and it's nothing crazy, but it's enough to do a little bit more. So I don't know if 1080. I don't know how viable that is, but I think at some point, just like the 3DS, where the hardware gets cheaper, they'll have a more slightly more powerful Switch that runs a little faster here and there, that type of thing. Nothing crazy, and they'll have like a cheaper version where they could sell and make decent profit off it.
Okay, well here's an idea, because of the way the Switch is, we also tend to forget. What if the revision isn't to the Switch itself, but what comes with the Switch? So instead of revising the Switch itself, maybe it's the dock that gets the major revision. So go ahead.
There's plenty of room aesthetically for a dock revision, because it's nothing really to look at. It's not ugly, but they could definitely do some more. Put an Ethernet
some customization on that bitch or something. Yeah.
I thought by now they would have been taking all our money with some seriously good-looking Joy-Cons. I know everyone's.
I was thinking the end of this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe this Christmas or a little bit after, because they probably want to get through that initial. What do you call it? The hardware they have now, whatever that serial number is or whatever that model number is, they probably want to sell through that as much as they can before they start offering new SKUs and new Nintendo made Joy-Cons, that kind of stuff. Because I'm trying to think of N64, because that's what it always reminded me of in the beginning. It's like, oh, it's going to be crazy customization on this thing probably. And I was thinking they didn't really do anything to N64 until year 3, before they started adding colored controllers and color systems and all that stuff. That was year 3, and then it got crazy by the end. I think so. Yeah, I think it was 90, 98, 99. 99, I think is 99 is when you got the jungle green N64 for Donkey Kong. So that's when the colors started really going crazy.
Yeah, I guess I was gonna say let's run with the dock idea, since that might be a little bit more feasible.
Yeah.
Versus the Switch itself. What would you change about the dock?
I mean, Ethernet port to start.
Yeah.
Stability. As in this thing, you flick it over, so either more weight in the bottom or a stand that goes into a pyramid outwards that it doesn't fall over as easy.
Yeah, definitely a more stable dock would be nice.
GameCube controller port, so I don't have to use that
Adapter.
adapter with all the damn wires all over the place, taking up my 2 USB slots.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
not gonna happen now. I'm just being stupid.
maybe a cooling fan just to kind of help with things. I know my Switch
That'd be nice.
It don't get that hot, but I mean, everyone thought there was gonna be maybe a fan in there, and maybe just a better fan they could bump up, because we know the Tegra's underclocked. Digital Foundry like by like almost 300 megahertz, and it's like if they put a fan, somehow get the ventilation improved, they wouldn't need more power in the actual dock if you could just have the Switch run a little hotter while it's docked and still keep cool. I mean, aesthetically, they could give us some options, maybe a sleeker like black, not the cheap Wii U gloss black, but something something nicer to look better, make the stand, make it deeper so it's not so tipsy. Because I mean, I barely touch that thing and it's like rocking. Go to put the Switch in, it's. I don't know if I could fix that myself by like gluing it to some a heavier base or something, if I wanted to. But
Perhaps
But why do that when they can make it like
Well,
that?
they should do that. That should be your.
Yeah,
should be
you shouldn't have
designing
to
their
you
dock.
shouldn't have to be forced to do that yourself.
The
But
way
it's funny because
feel-
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the way I feel about the revisions is very simple, because people now want like what we had with the Wii Mini. I don't think we're gonna get that until like 5 years from now, because the Switch is selling really well. What I think they're gonna do a lot though is all the feedback they've been getting now, even the bullshit one like the scratches, and like the warping and people saying like the breaking because they're not throwing with their Switches, all that shit. I think what we're gonna see is maybe a year from now, all of a sudden, people are going to notice, hey, this Switch I bought, it's a different plastic than the original one. Hey, this dock, it's a millimeter larger, I think shit like that is what we're going to see. Really small things to fix the issues it has now, because else it makes no sense. People now want like a Switch Mini, but that's like Xbox going to 4K when they can't even do 60 FPS yet, I really think they're going to focus on the main build still. With the way it's selling, there's no use in getting a full new revision Switch when the main product still has some minor issues to fix.
Do you think a Switch Mini is going to run hotter or cooler? It's probably going to run hotter.
I mean, what's it going to be, thinner? Like then it's not going to fit in a standard dock. Like I
would think more of a bigger Switch, honestly.
Yeah.
A bigger Switch, but then you got a fucking TV on. That's weird.
I mean, it's kind of like what T said. Just go 1080p. You don't necessarily have to make it huge.
Yeah,
it's
but
slightly bigger.
Portable games run at like 540 to 480, so I don't know that 1080p screen's gonna be necessary. I wouldn't mind if make the screen don't have that inch black border all around, or 3/4 of an inch, whatever it is.
Yeah,
have that be the full screen size.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be nice, and then
that would make a massive difference straight away.
Yeah, because when you're playing tabletop, I mean, shit. I was playing a couple podcasts ago. I was playing Rocket League after the podcast.
Of course you were.
In tabletop mode, and I'm literally 5 inches from the screen. And I had the best 4 matches of my life. Like, it was amazing. But yeah, definitely.
That was always my worry. Like way back, I just remembered this recently because of people's issues with the cracking and all that stuff. Is way back when this is first started talking about, the next console, the NX is going to be a hybrid, or it wasn't even talking about the NX yet. It was just rumors about, Nintendo's next console possibly being a hybrid, or a tablet console. And I always thought a tablet console, like that thing is going to run hot, because think about how much time you spend playing video games on your console, your set top. Like, what do you think? How you think a tablet is going to handle that many hours of play? Probably not very well. And of course, they do have the hybrid, and you're having some issues with cracking and heating and all that stuff. And so I'm surprised it's not more, because I was thinking about my iPad and whatnot, like how hot that thing gets in my hand just holding it, watching a movie. But like video gaming, you can be playing 5-6 hours straight. Like, what is that going to do to the longevity of your console. How long are these things going to last? So they're going to have to do some revisions because they don't know, on that first batch, what the strength of the thing is.
And I honestly, if like it was just up to me, and it's hard to say for most people, maybe that this wouldn't be something they'd want, but I see the Switch sales, and they want to sell 20 million. And looking at the VG charts, it's averaging about 1 million a month, which is, great, especially compared to the Wii U. But we're in almost the end of July, so that's only, it's a fiscal, so it's since March. So so that's like 4 million out of their 20. I know the holiday is going to be big, but I really think a little more significant revision could get someone like me to double dip, and that would actually boost their sales. Some people would probably be turned off by it, but I wouldn't mind put the Tegra 2 in there, chip in there, and let's get some performance and figure it out how they're going to handle that. Yeah. That's a problem for them to solve, but I wouldn't mind having it be real close to the original Xbox while docked. I would buy another one, trade mine in, whatever, for that.
Something's coming. I think you're right on the money as far as like how much, obviously how much they expect to sell and how it's been selling. And yeah, Pokemon and Smash are going to help sales definitely, but how much? So this could be the year that we get that bundle that has a Smash specific style Switch, or even a Pokemon like that. You think that wouldn't sell crazy? Like if they dropped a Pokemon design Switch, like that thing is so
it's also
stupid.
Not unheard of, because come on, Xbox didn't get to 38 million by selling games.
That's cold. That's uncalled for, sir.
Yeah, so I don't know if anyone agreed. I would rather have, instead of just like, oh, this one has just some slight improvements. Yeah, that's good for the new Switch owners.
But you're talking about like more major improvements.
But I want like a new Switch, like new Nintendo 3DS. I want kind of that leap.
That's what I want too.
Because the scalable resolution stuff, I don't think it wouldn't be like, oh, it gets an exclusive game. There's be games that can only run on that. I don't think that much of a jump.
Would it run like Tegra 2 instead of what it currently runs?
Yeah, which it's the same exact architecture.
Right.
And you would just, I don't know how it would work. Let's say it doesn't matter what, Doom isn't going to run at 60 on the Switch unless they'd have
guess
to
it'd just be a lock 30 maybe.
Yeah, they would have to. I don't think it would be enough of a jump to get it to 60, but they would have to go in and actually do like a major update. But the dynamic resolution games like Doom, like Wolfenstein, that would be an instant positive effect without any update necessary. It would just run back. It would just stay at 720 probably the whole time and dock, like something like that.
Basically, what you mean is what I think is a good idea, because Nintendo made the Switch, to make it cheap, everybody can afford it, all the families, and I guess the idea is what they should do, is what Xbox and PlayStation did in that case, is actually make a Pro something that might be bigger, that might have a bigger tag, that would be twice as expensive, but at least that's the idea what a lot of people would go for. I think it's better to go for like all the way, make something super expensive instead of just doing like a small upgrade, maybe.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd pay more than 400. I don't even know if I'd pay 400, but
double was an exaggeration. Is one of my exaggerations, but you know what I mean. Just go for something.
Actually, I'd be curious. That's the reason why I brought it. I'd be curious to see how much you would pay for it then.
It's the console itself is very light as is. Like if it was, a Switch and a half as far as the weight, like on the newer version, the more powerful version, that wouldn't be too bad. It wouldn't be too much of a difference as far as
I think
the handheld go.
Other than maybe having to put a bigger battery to handle the
bigger battery,
Tegra 2.
That's another thing they can incrementally do, like a better battery. That's another thing.
Well, for example, because a lot of people said this thing, Juice, especially in the beginning, also the Switch, it's not super handy to hold in handheld, I feel. make it kind of like what the Wii U gamepad is. That thing is comfortable as fuck. Just make it a bit thicker, you know?
Yeah.
Or at least the Joy-Cons. I mean, give us something, because
I guess the question is, if you make it thicker, I guess
change the dock.
Yeah, I'll say you have to expand the dock to compensate.
Obviously, a revision means a total revision. That means the dock
Yeah.
should also be adapted to whatever the new Switch would be like.
I honestly
one of
think
the
the
problems
dock, I
with
think
the
the
Switch,
dock needs
isn't
to
it?
change more than the Switch itself at this point.
The fact that it's such a modular design console in all its aspects, whether it's docked, portable and tablet mode and stuff, to revise a Switch, I feel like you would have to do everything. And it's no, if you do a Switch Mini, perhaps then you could focus on a very specific market for a Switch Mini. That might be cheaper and doesn't have split Joy-Cons or anything like that. It still has HD Rumble and stuff, but it does have the Switch Joy-Cons. And yeah, sure, you might miss out on 1 or 2 games, or like 1-2 Switch, or something. But it doesn't mean that you can't sync up. It doesn't mean you can't sync up.
Make it to where it's handheld only, like you can't hook it up.
Yeah, you can't. It doesn't mean you can't sync up.
The Joy-Cons don't slide out. It's just one solid piece. Yeah, and that's something they could do, and maybe they can break it down to like hopefully $199 or something, and that would be another market they can tap into.
I got a friend. He hasn't taken the dock out of the box. Yeah, he literally uses this console as a handheld, and we've all talked about this before, where when it's been obvious that some people are literally viewing this machine as just a handheld. Yeah,
you get it down to like the Vita cost,
Yeah,
you might.
Yeah.
Your
that
sales
might be the way they go. They might just
and I can imagine Nintendo doing something more like that instead of going for the whole powerful route. That I mean,
but I think
when we're talking about the extreme,
they could do both though. They could do both.
But I think going the handheld only route. I mean, yeah, that would
I wouldn't do that until like year 4.
Yeah, like if they, I mean, you're talking if any time in 2019 or something. Then I mean, there are people who like. I think they're completely missing out if they're not putting the thing in the dock. Like, I mean, it's just to me that's just retarded. But if you have a handheld only version and it's like, let's say $220 or something without dock and probably AC adapter, probably won't even come with an AC adapter. You got to buy your own, something stupid. But I could see that spike in sales for the short term.
Sorry to cut you off. Didn't they actually do that in Japan? Did they release it without?
They sell it without a. They're selling it without a dock. They've released it without a dock.
I don't know how well that done.
That's why I said I believe at some point the Switch could eclipse the Wii, because I'm thinking like once they hit that market, if they offered something like that, like a Switch that's at $189 or something like that, unlike the other consoles. Like this is going to be the most powerful console or most powerful handheld out there for who knows how long. Because I don't think anybody else is trying to jump in the handheld market anytime soon. So this could always be that powerful console. This could sell for 8, 9, 10 years. I mean, look at the 3DS. The 3DS is still selling pretty well. It is year 7, going on year 8.
And it wasn't even that powerful when
it wasn't that powerful to begin with, right? So. That's what I'm saying. If they get that price down to, Vita 3DS in year 3, year 4, oh my gosh. Like, it could be a significant spike.
Yeah. So you would drop, I guess you would drop the price next year then?
I would try to drop it next year. That's, end of next year. Not like early, but like end of next year.
Like pretty much like a holiday.
Like a holiday thing, yeah. That would be my goal if I was Nintendo.
Yeah, 2 years in, and I mean, if things still cost $300, then they're just being greedy because their manufacturing costs and everything has gone down.
I think they sold. Did they sell the Switch at a profit from Jump or no?
From Jump, it's a profit, which it's kind of insane. But
they did the same thing with the Wii, I believe, right?
The Wii was at a loss, but you had to buy a game, and then it was at a profit. It was weird. If you bought a Wii. Oh no, I'm thinking Wii U. Sorry, Wii was definitely at a profit. I mean, it was 2 GameCubes stuck together, and you know, in the 6th year of the GameCube being out, so it wasn't that expensive.
So really, the GameCube lasted all the way up until 2011.
Pretty much. You know, I look at the games, I'm like, are they that much better? The Wii games, are they that much better than GameCube?
I don't know. Fucking Galaxy 2 looks
Galaxy 2. Okay,
significantly better than Sunshine.
There's a few. Let me take that back. There are a few, but if you look at the overall library, and I have a significant amount of that library, graphically, like they're not much beyond GameCube games as far as visuals.
That's why the GameCube is better than the Wii. We tried to tell you before you didn't listen.
Oh, here we go.
No comment.
Everybody prepare yourselves. It's about to go down.
My graphics, man.
But I don't know. I just think, you know, I've been playing Fortnite back and forth PC, Rocket League back and forth, Switch and PC, and is the one thing about Fortnite drops to 30, but I think Fortnite still looks. I can go from PC and play Fortnite on Switch. I'm just like, you know, this doesn't look too bad, even though I think the update actually made it worse. This season 5, I think it actually looks a little worse. I don't know.
Really?
Especially that like desert area. But anyway, Rocket League's a bigger jump or drop visually, but it keeps that 60 FPS. But I can't help but kind of wish, you know, because I still play the most of my playtimes on Switch. There's not a part, you know, I can be lying to say there's not a part of me wish, you know, the Switch was just capable of a little bit more. You know, some of the jaggies on some of the stages are pretty, make the stages look pretty ugly. Actually, one of the ugliest stages, is the new beach setting, but one of the other ugly stages has like I want to say it feels like a temple, like an Indian temple or something in the background. I'm not sure. That's one of the second ugliest stage on the Switch version. It's one of the better looking versions on PC. So it's like, I wouldn't mind, you know, just a little bump so that games can just look, you know, closer to, not to PC level, but, you know, and just thinking of the future when we talk about how Wolfenstein 2 was kind of approaching the line of one, you know, past go any further and it might not be worth putting on the Switch when that one level, which, you know, apparently runs pretty poor and looks pretty blurry. It'd be nice if they could push that line out so it's, you know, so third parties don't have trouble 2 years from now making games for the Switch, because I really see a couple years, even if the thing's selling, like you'll still get the FIFA version on that specific engine, maybe NBA still be going, but I really think they're just gonna be too unwilling to take that many hits to the performance of the game to get it to run. They might just have to make a lesser version, like a completely different version. I don't know, but I wouldn't be opposed.
Sorry, finish up, Juice. Sorry.
I was just saying, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I know I kind of didn't understand when the PS4 Pro came out, because I think that was too soon because the PS4 the graphics still look amazing, but even the best looking games on Switch I'm already seeing like room for improvement, you know, like even Breath of the Wild. I mean, one of the best looking art styles, a beautiful game, but I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't love to see that in a crisp 1080p, like, you know, if that was possible with a revision, something like that. So I don't know. It's weird because like I said, I felt the Pro was unneeded, but I think the Xbox One X was a little more needed because the Xbox was kind of trailing, and I think a Switch Pro, not to be the new version, but, you know, to be there for somebody who'd want it. I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm probably in the minority there, but I wouldn't even be mad if they announced it for the 2-year anniversary in March of 2019.
I think we need to fix that online service, see where we're going with that first before I see it. I need to see what the Switch is looking like in like December, and then be like, maybe you need to get your shit together, Nintendo.
We probably need some games too, some first party games.
Well, we'll start getting those, I think, in October. Although it's not gonna. I mean, I don't know how many people are buying Super Mario Party and Pokemon, which will be a game changer financially, but you know. that's kind of a wait and see situation right now. But actually, since you did bring up the whole thing with 2K and their games, I believe a news report came out today talking about how they're pretty happy with their game so far. So I believe that's
2K.
Well, it's Take-Two. My bad. That's the yeah. But I say 2K anyway because apparently NBA 2K is WWE 2K18 and LA Noire. They said they were pretty happy with the sales for it, which I guess explains
specifically WWE. I don't know if they said because
they just
said they didn't do well, and that's why they're not bringing another one. But
I think it's more of it was more of a general statement.
Yeah,
where they were just like, overall we did well. They didn't specifically.
Well, I think numbers wise, what is it? LA Noire did comparable to like the PS4 version, even as far as sales go. Yeah, and
I am surprised.
Yeah, it was pretty close. I think PS4 sold a little more, but it wasn't that much. It wasn't anything drastic. And 2K, we know that did well sales wise.
I think the
only outlier was WWE 2K, which was a piece of shit.
Yeah, I think if the physical version didn't come out a month later, I think, and that was the first game to have the additional download with a physical game. If 19's out, I would be shocked if it wasn't day and date. And
yeah,
I don't know if they're probably still gonna have to download. I doubt 32 gig cards would be reasonable even.
It better be day and date. They're already advertising it on 2K18.
But
yeah, they are.
Just another year of development. Get some tweaks and have all the features, everything there. I think it would probably. I'd say maybe could hit 500,000 because I'm looking at VG Charts has the 18 at 370,000 for Switch. That's just the physical. So maybe with digital, it's probably 400. I could see that continuing to grow, and the fan base. You keep bringing the game, and fan base keep supporting it. Get some nice improvements. Like visually, it doesn't have to do a whole lot. I doubt they could hit 60 or anything crazy like that. So. Just make the game, make it a better game, have it day and date, physical, and I would be shocked if it didn't outsell 2K18.
But nobody's excited for that FIFA 19, y'all.
Hey, they're saying friends lobbies. I know a little craze getting it.
I don't like how that's a fucking feature to tout. That is not a feature to tout, right? Oh shit, y'all, we can talk to our friends in 2018. I'm so excited.
A year later.
FIFA 18 was on sale at Best Buy for $24.99. I was like,
it ain't even worth
if I could just play with Cray because he loves soccer, like I would have picked that up for $25. But
I'm still baffled how close.
Me too. I know that EA still gonna get some of that money, so I don't even want to buy that one.
They don't fucking deserve it. Piece of shit.
It has nothing to do with FIFA. It has to do with EA and the bullshit.
Because EA is a piece of shit, but we have to deal with them for certain games.
Yeah.
So I posted a picture of Beetle Adventure Racing on Twitter.
Adventure Racing.
Oh god.
Yeah, and I completely forgot that EA were the publisher.
Yeah,
of that game.
I told you that when you said it last time. I was like, that's EA.
Yeah, completely forgot.
He was trying to avert his eyes from the truth.
That's when they were halfway decent. That's when they came around on the N64 and they were there for the GameCube pretty much from the beginning.
Nah, man, you lying. EA was never good. Get the fuck out of here.
And that's when they had all that cool EA Big and all that. That's when EA was delicious. Now they're suspicious.
That was some nice rhyming.
He's out here rapping and shit. We get it.
I got skills, man. You know I got skills, man. Shaq.
That's not the point, T. Stop bragging. I can't be nice like you. Help me. Stop. Anywho, I did want to go ahead. So with our time limit, I don't know how long this is going to take, but we'll see what happens. Out of everyone here, I probably trash Xbox the most. I am not a fan.
You gave them a -3 or something.
Listen, Robert, I don't need your help
That was
reminding
hilarious,
everyone that I'm not a fan. Shut the fuck up. Listen, but I thought it would be nice because all the Xbox people over here are talking about what's coming in the next Xbox 2 or Xbox 5, whatever the fuck we're gonna call it. And I say, you know what? Let's try to salvage the Xbox One here. So we're all gonna pretend like we are the head of Xbox, how we're gonna fix Xbox's situation. Now, I wanted to specifically
Go party. Oh wait, they have no games. Sorry.
Jesus Christ, Retro.
They're not going to number it, that's for sure, because they'd have to call it the Xbox 4 when there's a PS5 out, so it'll look like they'll look like it's a smaller. Oh, it's something's wrong with I don't want an Xbox 4 when there's a PS5. You know, like people are that
You
stupid.
laugh at that?
Xbox
laugh at that, but
600.
It's true. It's
So
true.
logical.
They're not going to
fucking
name it the
funny,
Xbox
bro.
4. They're not going to call it that. So
We've anywho.
So you're
but
talking about saving the Xbox One or the next Xbox?
we're
The
talking about Xbox One because
Xbox
everyone else is talking. Everyone else
One.
is talking about the Xbox 2 or whatever the fuck they want to call it. Right? We're not gonna do that.
No.
I saw a video from Censorship Gaming like a week ago, or it might be 2 weeks ago. I don't remember. It's a good video. You guys should go check it out. Where they were trying to explain the history of Xbox and its bad blood with Japan and what was really going on.
I saw that.
And I thought it was interesting. So I said, you know what? That's instead of trying to fix Xbox as a whole, because that would take a lot of time and effort, and we only have a certain amount of time for these damn podcasts. Let's try to fix Xbox's Japanese problem. Because I kind of sat and thought it out, and I was like, there's not a lot you can really do. Because to give them credit where it's due, considering where they were to begin with, they have made major strides in the jump of Japanese gaming, or just getting Japanese games in general. Because before they weren't getting shit. You would get like that 1 or 2 titles that were exclusive and like nothing else. Now they get most of the big third-party major games. So we're gonna pretend to be analysts here and see how do we fix Xbox's Japanese problem, because this is gonna be a thing that'll carry on to the next generation too. So we need to fix this shit, guys. What do we do? How do we fix
well,
it?
number one.
No, this is not a countdown, team.
Hey, man, it might make us get a million hits if we start doing that corny countdown stuff.
All right, yeah, but see, the thing is
So let me
that
do my voice again. Number one.
no, listen, because Juice would have to link your Patreon in the description first, all right? And he's not gonna do that shit.
Well, the first thing easily is, for whatever reasons, Microsoft does not seem to understand form factor and the importance of form factor. The Xbox has been a big ass box from the beginning, and they didn't think. I watched the video too. I knew this back then, but they didn't think that they needed to change the shape and look of the Xbox in that region when they do, because the Japanese are very they're very much about synchronicity in their living spaces. Like, they don't want anything protruding and being overbearing. It's very much a synchronized look for them. And with that, especially back then, with that big Xbox and that Duke controller, like that was just the dumbest move of all. And they were so stubborn about it. It was like, Japanese people, they don't like the huge consoles in their living space. And that is one thing. I don't know how much, if they did it now, how much it would affect the sales, because they have that kind of stigma in Japan after 15 years now, right? More than that. So I don't know how much that will help, but I think it will. It will help something if they think Japan first and make the whole design based around a smaller, more less imposing look. Or they just do a different SKU for Japan, because consoles used to do that. They used to have a different look.
I was going to say that, yeah.
Japan.
Nintendo did it with the Super
Nintendo
Nintendo.
did it with Super Nintendo, right? So there were consoles that did that, and they had a different SKU for the West, or Americas. So that's a thing they can look into. But
I mean, it's the
again,
same thing with to add to that point. It's the same with Sega. I mean, the Mega Drive has a completely different name here. Even I mean, it's not unheard
Yeah.
of. For the marketing, it works. But they're not. Yeah, it's like you said with the form factor. They're not even trying to make them go buy it and shit. I mean, it's not like that's a substance, so you need to do something.
It reminds me of what Microsoft and Sony did with the Chinese market. They just threw that out there. They just threw their consoles out there and didn't think about China and what, how basically how their living spaces, how they play video games, any of that stuff. They just said, Sony, we're Sony, so here's our system, instead of making something that would fit a Chinese family, And that's why it didn't sell. That's why they dropped those consoles and they pretty much didn't do anything in China. So you got to think about that separately. It's a different culture. It's a separate thing. You can't just feed them the same way you feed the West or the Americas,
Yeah,
That's number one.
You're fucking garbage, Steve.
Yeah, I have to agree with the whole form factor. I know the Xbox One X actually is the closest thing they got to that. Like, it's the smallest Xbox, and it's pretty close to what it needs to be. I think it's about the size of the PS4, and if they would have had that from the get-go,
in the beginning,
I don't think form factor solves all their problems, but it's
like the first
place
step
to start, because it ain't gonna make the U.S. and Europe gamers mad because the Xbox is smaller. Like, come on,
we don't care.
That just.
And besides, the Switch now has like one of the smallest consoles anyway, so we're good.
Yeah.
So it's like that wouldn't hurt. But then they got to have games they want to play on it. That's
That's
gonna be
number two.
That's the weird situation, because I think just calling back to the video again, I think they even mentioned the 360 did better in Japan than the Xbox One is currently doing now.
Yeah.
And it's like, remember the 360 when it started out, I had a huge bunch of exclusives. I think that was like the first major push of Japanese exclusives on the Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There weren't that many, mind you.
No.
But there were some, and I think that was enough to at least get the ball rolling.
Well, I watched that video. It was kind of cheating for me because they pointed out all the things that they did wrong. So it's easy for me to, I'm sure in you, Terrell, as well. So you guys chime in and answer these things.
I was going to go for the number two thing then, which I feel is the main thing they should work. And this is going to sound so funny. I'm going to bring it like this. Multiplats. They don't have the good multiplats. When you think of Japan, most of actually every game that is either RPG or anime-based, anime fighting games, or those waifu games, or whatever, anything you can think of, is coming out on the PlayStation 4 and on the Switch. They're getting both all these games, but Xbox they're not getting most of these games, and that is the big issue. And they've been carrying so late that at this point you're gonna get like ports way too late, and then they're gonna be like, we don't care. And then when a Japanese audience, they look at Xbox, they look at the game, so wait, these RPGs, they're on the Switch, and I can take the Switch with me, and on the PS4, and it's pretty powerful. And the same with the fighting games, like the SNK shit, and everything like the there was recently like I think Ease, I'm not sure, but there's a buttload of games that came out in the last months, like 3-4 months, that every time you see them, it's like PlayStation 4 Switch, PlayStation 4 Switch, PlayStation 4 Switch, and nothing is coming to the Xbox. It's extremely sad how little games. And then people say like, yeah, but the Xbox audience doesn't care, because when people say the Xbox audience, people just think of America, and that's how Xbox sees it. So that's the main problem already. Just they're not putting in the correct games.
Well, they haven't really. I mean, with the Xbox, they have to keep on. They have to keep on fighting, because I mean, when the original Xbox come out in Japan, 2001, 2002,
2002,
something like that?
I think.
Yeah, 2002 maybe. So what? They've been in the gaming world for 15 years, let's just say 15, 16 years, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about that as a single individual, someone who started gaming from when they were 5 years old, right, and now they're in their early 20s, right? For them, that's almost like a single generation of an era of gaming. So if you don't capture that person constantly, keep on pushing for those people's attentions throughout every single console that you release in such a short time period, no one's going to give a shit. And that's where they started to fall flat with the 360. I think.
The 360 they gained ground with the 360 And then they
No, this is what I was
major
just about to
ground.
say. That's what I was just about to say.
Okay.
They seem to hit the sweet spot with the 360 because they were getting Japanese stuff. They got Final Fantasy 13. They got Lost Odyssey. They got Eternal Sonata, which was a very good RPG. I don't know if that was that JRPG, Eternal Sonata. Sure, it was.
Yeah.
Blue Dragon.
Yeah, Blue Dragon and stuff. They were getting certain things. I mean, don't get me wrong. It wasn't like amazing, incredible stuff in terms of just volume. But at least it was there and it was exclusive and it was on that platform. And they were getting the beat 'em ups. They were getting all the Street Fighters. They were doing everything. When the first Xbox came out, all they really had. Well, I tell you the truth. With the original Xbox,
No, they had Sega. They
just lost out.
They tried.
They lost out from more than anything else. They had Sega. They had Ninja Gaiden. They had Metal Gear. Yeah, Metal Gear. They had all this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then it's only until now where they got so lazy and arrogant because of the success of the 360 that they fucked up.
Yeah,
and
they got that.
If you think about it,
I'm gonna get it.
sorry, I was just gonna say, if you think about it, they built up to their second console, got cocky, and then fucked it all up. It was just way too soon to sit back and think you're king of the world just because you thought you beat Sony in one console generation. Way too soon. They have not been around for that long. So it's I got absolutely. I'm like Terrell. I got absolutely no sympathy for them whatsoever. They fucked up themselves. So,
Yeah, like I've said this before about other things. You got to cultivate your audience. Like they started with the Xbox. They did better with the 360. They didn't do great. Those games weren't selling great, but they were selling better. And they screwed up with the Xbox One because they had a Western mentality with the Xbox One. What was the selling point of the Xbox One in the beginning?
Connect.
TV and Connect.
TV.
Like
Yeah.
TV. Japanese don't care about damn TV set-top box. Like they didn't care about that. They already had their own way of doing that. But
they're fucking TVs in the mirrors and shit already.
America didn't care about a TV set-top gaming console. Like that was so past. People were Netflix and everything. Like nobody cared about that. People barely watched TV at the time the Xbox One came out. So it was stupid for the West too. But they had a Western mentality with the Xbox One, and they forgot about the audience they were cultivating with the original Xbox and the 360. They were slowly building. They went from, I think they sold 500,000, 400,000 Xbox originals, and then they sold like 1.3 million Xbox 360. So they were on the right path. And they dropped. What did they sell, like 88,000 Xbox Ones? It's sad. They took their eye off the ball.
Because I want to make kind of my main criticism and the reason why, even if the next Xbox came out, I don't have that much faith in it as far as Japanese support is. Well, actually, just in general, but Japanese support specifically for the sake of the conversation, is that it's kind of like Nintendo's problem with third party. Nintendo, in some ways, burnt some bridges, and some companies burnt bridges with them. And it took them in the Switch. That's why the Switch's transition to third-party games has been kind of a slow uphill climb. Right. But they went through the effort. But that's because the bridges were kind of burned with the Wii and the Wii U. So you have to rebuild the connection. Every time you drop off for a generation, you have to reset. And that's essentially what's happening with Xbox. The 360 was progress, and then you fell off a fucking cliff with the One. So now, even when they get to the next Xbox, and to be fair, the towards the end of the Xbox One, they've started getting more Japanese games, at least the AAA titles at the very least. But once again, when we hit to the next Xbox console, we're gonna have to pretty much go up that damn hill again, and hopefully by the end, will be around 360.
Not necessarily, because again, they like you said, they're recultivating that audience late Xbox One. So you can bring those guys over if you have those games in the beginning and say, hey, we're still the company you started to trust again for these games. And they show up with the Xbox, whatever it's going to be called. And they have a nice string of Japanese, style, anime style games in the beginning and let you know, yeah, we're going to have all that stuff too. Instead of giving them, what was that? What was that game?
Oh, Super Lucky Tail?
No, that Connect game.
Connectable.
Oh, the animal
it
thing?
got changed into a regular game. It was a Connect game at first, and then they changed it and they realized
What
how
was
stupid.
that?
The gladiator game.
Oh,
Rise. Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Well, that's
Japanese are
the
killing
thing.
them. Rise.
Look at the fucking. They could have some third-party games, like they're getting some third-party, like they Kingdom Hearts, and but look at their first-party games. Those aren't going to sell in Japan. Period.
Right, they need
like Sony.
Number 3. They need a building that says Xbox in Japan with Japanese employees.
Yeah, they got to be making first-party games that Japanese players would want to buy. You know, like
Right.
Well,
Sony has their games. Some of their exclusives do really well in Japan. Microsoft doesn't have exclusives that sell in Japan. I think that's a
They don't care when they won't bother because now
That's a big market.
the
You can't
Xbox
just not care.
they need to diversify their audience.
based off everything.
Yeah.
The Xbox One sold like 40 consoles last week or some shit like that in Japan.
It was 200 and something the first week in June.
When you're doing that bad, I don't care if they bought fucking Sega, Namco, Konami, and fucking anyone else. Even if they bought all those companies, I just can't imagine a world where the Xbox would sell in Japan. It's just like-
I can imagine it, but they have to put in the effort to make it happen.
You can sell.
they
You can make
won't.
it
They
anywhere.
won't.
You can
No,
make it anywhere.
no, I think the biggest problem is that the stereotype that only dude bros play their consoles is true because they only pander to that one demographic.
Well, I think they're shaking that again. Late Xbox One. I think they're
That's
starting
the-
to shake that a little bit because you can hear the Xbox fanboys getting pissed off. What is with this game here? It looks super Lucky
Well, that's
Tails.
true, but I think the problem is that I think they really need to double down. And I'll give them credit because the last, I think, 2 E3s, they have been the ones to kind of push the anime games.
Yeah.
And I appreciate them putting in the effort to do that. But I don't want it to be one of those things where you do that for 2 years and then you just throw your hands up and like, oh, I'm done.
I mean,
Because
Cuphead
they're not
and
selling
Ori
well,
and
I
the
guess
Blind
we can't
Forest,
bother.
those aren't traditional dude bro Xbox fan games. Like they are making efforts, right? And those games didn't work.
They just need more transitional games. Like
Yeah,
I think like the Dragon Ball Fighters and the Jump Force kind of games, the games that are like well-known anime characters that people can kind of transition into anime games with, not like the super weeaboo shit that you'll see on Sony and Nintendo sometimes. But if you can have some more of those transitional games that like maybe like an anime shooter that has a little bit of that anime bullshit in it because that's what we like, damn it. And have that be kind of the way you get people into it. Because I do think the Xbox's player base is fucking limited as hell. And half of it's just because some of them just won't touch that shit. They've been conditioned not to play those kind of games because those aren't what Xbox used to market. And so I think they just need to I think they really need to make a hard push for some of these games.
I think you're right on the majority of Xbox gamers, but I see it change. Like like I said, I talked about teaching and stuff, and how many kids who don't care about Dude Bro or any of that stuff, who love their Xbox. They all have Xbox. They all play Fortnite on their Xbox. So I think that's changing. I think it's at least the demographics of the Dude Bro versus like the all-around gamer. I think that's changing. I think Microsoft is making a concerted effort actually to go after a younger audience.
Man, I love talking about
it's
video
working.
games.
I think it's working.
like we need to get like the dude bros to become more weeaboo, you know? Like,
Hey man, listen, that's a life goal. Fuck you, right?
That's not going to happen. You're not going to get a Dude Bro to turn around and play a turn-based Japanese RPG. That's just not going to happen.
this is so good.
Well, I think that's. I mean, and to be fair, that's kind of what's influenced a lot of Japanese developers to start making more Western style games. Look at what they did to Final Fantasy, and it's like, do we really want this? Most fans would tell you not much, not really, especially for Final Fantasy specifically.
That's what
What
I
do
did
you
during the
think-
360 era.
Why do you think games like Bravely Default and Octopath Traveler are doing so good? Because that's what the fans want.
Yes, and then meanwhile, Microsoft or Xbox One is confirmed for Kingdom Hearts 3 and Switch is not. So
Yeah.
it's just I don't understand.
Well, it's also just weird because it's like well, we got the game, and I'm like, yeah, but why don't you get the other games that are on PS4 right now? The fucking collections. Go get the collections. If you're gonna go ahead and start the Kingdom Hearts train, finish it. Don't just I got the latest game, so we're good. No, get the other games.
Yeah, I mean that happens. I mean, even the Wolfenstein 2 just came out on Switch. Like,
yeah, that just drives me nuts.
Why didn't you port the first game? I mean, that costs more money, but still, it's kind of weird.
I think it'd be easier getting the port.
Yeah, I think as long I'm typing this right now. Actually, link a link. I think as long as they keep Gears, Forza, Halo, they're gonna keep their core fan base. They don't have anything to worry about there, and they can expand by bringing in these other games.
Well, that and what was the recent report about how they didn't want to do a sequel to Quantum Break, and people were like, so even when you make the hardcore like new IPs, you don't do anything with them.
Well, they didn't do that well to begin with, so.
Well, I'm just saying, but if you're gonna, I mean, just because it didn't do great doesn't mean you can't come up with a sequel that can do better. I'm just saying, like, actually commit to an IP. None of the games they came out with this year, they actually committed to and said, hell, here's a sequel for it. You put out Rise.
That's something I was going to say.
Go ahead.
That's something I was going to say because, we were talking about them. T was talking about them, building up and hoping that, to carry over to the next Xbox. You have to wonder what they will be carrying over this generation because there's really fuck all that they're going to be carrying over. No one's going to give a shit about Sea of Thieves 2 or anything like that or anything. And when it comes to games like Quantum Break, I can completely agree with Terrell. Microsoft are a company who wants to make a quick buck. Yeah, and if they make a quick buck, then they will continue. If it doesn't, they drop it. And that's been shown throughout history, throughout every single one of their consoles. They've been quick to drop stuff. And even with Rare, where I'm surprised there was even a sequel to Viva Pinata, and even then that sequel felt like DLC as well. It was it wasn't too much of a sequel. They can't seem to. They're very. I know this sounds stupid because they are a huge multinational company. They're going to have long-term plans, but when it comes to their games, their software, they do seem very short-term, very very focused, as in to grab the crowd now. And if something fails, discard it and not necessarily try something completely new, but just fall back on something that is essentially guaranteed. And they don't feel like
cultivating.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Yeah.
Well, it's because they essentially are taking a variation on the way Sony does things. Like Nintendo usually have its main franchise, and then they've recently been pushing more new IPs, and we might get some revival of some old franchise. Sony just does full fucking rotation. Like usually you have a set IPs that are relevant for that generation, and you might bring back like maybe one or two of them, but everything else gets rotated out and you bring in new IPs. Microsoft is essentially doing this thing where it's kind of doing what Sony does, except but just completely not doing new IPs. They're just doing new IPs every generation, and then just saying fuck it.
And they have a treasure trove of IPs over there. They won't even touch. They've been holding them in Hades since 2002, 2003 with the Rare IPs. They've done nothing with them. Other than release a Rare Replay.
If Sony could release fucking Knack, Microsoft should be releasing fucking
Banjo. Sony even double down on Knack. We got a sequel for Knack.
We got a sequel for Knack.
but we couldn't see. But we didn't get a sequel for Rise. We didn't get a sequel for Sunset Overdrive. It was like
that's insane.
The fuck.
Or a Recore.
Yeah, Recore. You can forget about that.
It's like every fucking IP. It was like, here's a new IP. Another one. Another one. Another one. And I'm like, guys, you have like 4 games here. Why not try to expand and make the next one better? Well, I guess Titanfall 2 was it, and then it went multi-plat, so it kind of didn't matter.
It wasn't selling. Well, Recore, like the problem with Recore is just too much jumping. Xbox fans don't like jumping. That reminds them of Mario too much.
What is that like? PSD? I'm getting flashbacks to that.
It's a platform game. I don't play that shit.
You're striking the fear in the hearts of Xbox fans.
Metroid Prime.
It looked cool when the girl was on the ground. You know, they showed the demo or they showed the trailer, the first trailer of Rico. Oh, look, it looked cool because she's on the ground with a gun. When they started jumping on platforms, like, oh no, fuck this shit.
Oh no,
I guess the next thing is do you think Xbox needs like a legit gimmick for Japan or just in general? Like, because I mean, I think Xbox's and PlayStation's biggest criticism is the fact that those consoles are almost literally the same kind of console, except for Sony has more exclusives and more Japanese games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do they need to try something radically different in terms of how they present their next console?
I think every company should, but it's annoying that they don't.
Marketing, for sure. They got to do something more clever in the East with the marketing.
I think it'd be awesome if how every Nintendo console you have a different controller, all that type of shit. But then, Sony and Microsoft they don't really change their controls. They don't change the way they play, and I wish.
But it works for Sony, so you can't say that's a problem.
No, I'm not saying it's a problem for me personally.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
I think it'd be cool if
I think they revised the controller in all the right ways without having to make it look completely different.
Well, yeah, but it took them 4 times. It's like,
Yo, Robert's on fire tonight. Watch this, man.
No, you know what I mean? How cool would it be if we got a new I don't know, because I'm not making a console, but make something new. I think it'd be cool. Very single console.
VR, that's the key.
Yeah, VR, man.
To the next Xbox in Japan.
VR and 3D. Bring 3D back. 3D TVs.
Yeah, maybe they sold like free VR anime. Something.
No, it's already there, and you don't need it. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think Xbox's entire problem is that they're trying to focus on gimmicks. That's why they're failing over there. Because the gimmicks America can think of, man, Japan's already 20 years ahead with that shit. You need games.
Yeah, it's gotta be games.
Or maybe just find more interesting way of mixing the gimmicks with the games. But like I said, I think it kind of goes back to kind of like what me and Clark were saying. They don't dedicate to the games that much. It's
just even in the U.S., they forgot about exclusives for 2-3 years. Now they're buying a bunch of a couple of studios they pretty much already had, that were making exclusives anyway, but they bought a couple companies.
It's like when the cold reality hits, like, look, they bought these companies that already were making games for them.
But it took they lost even in the U.S. and in Europe, and they forgot about exclusive. I don't know when that happened. I mean, just the fact that they thought the Kinect 2 was even worth pursuing in the beginning of the life, like that just tells you this thing was just doomed to fail from the beginning. In retrospect,
I was
just gonna say, in retrospect, now it seems obvious, but I'm pretty sure I thought the Kinect was dumb. Everyone was
think about it. It was right after the Wii had kind of like stolen the market.
I know, but I mean they couldn't see the.
And I think even Sony did that with the whole touchpad thing on their control. I think they were both like, we don't know what Nintendo's about to do, so we probably should have some sort of gimmick ready.
But they didn't. They didn't go all in. Say our OS Kinect is required. Our whole system is Kinect.
To be fair, I think Xbox went further than Sony did.
That was a big misstep in the beginning.
But I kind of, they messed up with, with what they were actually trying to do, trying to force on you with Kinect. But I saluted them a little bit. The fact that they said Kinect was integral with that machine. It would belong to every machine, which means it was no longer a peripheral. Every single person was going to own that camera. And if they had concentrated on then trying to make really unique ideas, perhaps then start pushing a lot more augmented reality, which they always talk about with the Windows Surface and stuff like this, and Minecraft. If they stuck with it and actually used Kinect in most of their software, tried to do some fresh ideas, then they could have been onto something. But just like with Sony, when they do these peripherals, they'll leave everyone else to do something with it. They never really make the effort to push it themselves. They rely on third parties to do it. And if the manufacturer can't be fucking bothered to do it, third parties aren't going to be bothered to do it because the support isn't going to be there. So at least the Connect was there.
So the problem is they just didn't. They didn't have faith and they didn't double down on it like they should have.
Yeah.
Because I think
I don't so much. It was a faith. I mean, it was a backlash as well. I mean, we all remember that.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I think the Connect was kind of like that cherry on top of the shit sundae. Like the whole problem, the problem wasn't the Connect. The problem was more of just the always online and the DRM. It's just that on top of that, you're gonna tell me you're gonna make me spend $100 more for this fucking peripheral that was irrelevant back in 2006 or some shit. Like some people. And some people just didn't want to deal with that shit on top of everything else.
And that this peripheral, you know, and they're testing it out. They're like, Xbox, turn on TV, Xbox, turn on TV. You know, this shit doesn't even work.
If it didn't work like 95% of the time, why even do it? Like,
yeah,
I mean, you know it wasn't working. They thought they can get it.
I think that was the biggest problem at the beginning of well, I guess this generation. I think that people were scared. They were like, shit, Nintendo went out here and killed us with a console that wasn't even nowhere near as powerful as our other consoles. We need to make sure we're ready. And then Nintendo shit didn't do well, and it was like, fuck.
That's true, but neither Sony or Microsoft was starving. They weren't hungry. They sold pretty well.
Well, yeah, I'm about to say, but I think they just didn't want to miss out on that big money because that was the issue with the last generation where the Wii essentially killed that market, and Sony and Microsoft may have gotten like a small piece of it, but that was a bunch of potential money they never got because it was already kind of dried up by the time they got their hands in the market. Well, and I think they just wanted to be ready in advance.
Cass and Rye was at E3 2006 talking about we ain't worried about gimmicks. That bit him in the ass, but
Cass Rye wasn't worried about making money either. Apparently,
he was like Ridge Racer.
I think one of the big issues also why Xbox is just failing so hard, and especially in Japan and everything, it's like Xbox fans they like saying about why would I buy like a Switch? I mean, what if I don't like Zelda, you know? And that's the thing, like Nintendo, they have like Zelda and Mario, and then they have Xenoblade and Smash and Splatoon and Mario Kart 8. And then when you go to Sony, you have like Uncharted and Knack and Killzone and Ratchet & Clank. Like all of these games, each and every single one of them, are fundamentally different from one another. But when you think of Xbox, there's only 3 names you can think of. It's like Halo, Gears, and Forza. And 2 of these games are both shooters. It's like there's just no incentive to actually get something. Even when you're just talking about the first one.
You forgot a game. You forgot Forza Horizon. Okay, there is a.
Yeah, I said Forza.
No. It's 2 different series, guys. I swear to God.
Forza Horizon is Forza Motorsport, man.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, man. God. Sorry.
I was going to say it's once again them not like continuing with their franchises, just coming off what Retro said. When you think of Xbox, it's just these games. It's because they give up on everything again. It's not so much that they don't try to cater to different markets, which they do. They just give up. They don't continue to push for it when it doesn't sell straight away. That's one of their biggest problems.
It's like Nintendo and online. They just give up. They start all over every time they do a new console.
See, guys, we got to throw in that shit every time because we will not let it go. We're not going to listen and just realize this is a prequel because when the fucking online comes out, boy, every podcast is going to have some type of shade in it. We're going to take 30 minutes out and just lampoon Nintendo for fucking up again. So just be prepared. This is a teaser.
It had Fable. Fable was trash though. The first one. I don't know how it sold. It sold on promises, I guess. But
I think
Fable.
Peter Molyneux, man.
Yeah, but the Fable 2 and 3 were much better games. I will say that.
I guess the round out this. I was trying to be positive with this, and it did not work at all.
I don't know. I thought we gave some good suggestions.
I mean, we gave some constructive criticism. I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
It wasn't just hate.
I guess if not
for me.
Well, no. I mean, my hatred can never be topped, but that's besides the point. I guess just to kind of finish it off, if you could like sum up your one of all your concerns, your one main, if like let's say Phil Spencer was listening to this, the one thing you want him to take away from this discussion, what would it be? Like, what's the one thing they need to change about Xbox moving forward?
I'd
hard
say
to say
hello.
one.
How you doing?
What, Robert?
I'd say hello to him, dude. I'd be like, oh shit.
Robert, right? You so goddamn much. No, Robert, you knew. I should have known better. I should. Someone else. Somebody say something.
It's simple what I would say. You know, stop making consoles, start making games.
I'd tell him to just shut his company down.
Just go PC. All in with the PC. That's key.
Yeah, there you go. All in on PC. It's key.
I guess that's the other we could have brought that up. Like, do they need to continue that whole PC cross support thing?
They
Or
want
no?
they want me to play Xbox. Don't put you on PC.
Yeah, like, do you think that should end in Xbox One era?
Like, it's like in one on one side, it's like, hey, I don't mind not having to buy an Xbox, then, but at the same time, it's like, but then I feel bad. It's like I like buying.
You feel bad as you play on PC though.
Yeah, because I'm like, all right, well, I mean, I guess I could just play on PC, but it's like I feel like I'm also missing, not having an Xbox. But like, it just, I don't know. I feel like in all reality, they probably should stop doing the PC thing if they really want all the attention on just Xbox, so they could truly say exclusive instead of saying console
Windows 10
exclusive.
exclusive.
You know what I mean? Windows 10.
Yeah, because that's
But
kind
they
of
don't
weird.
have console exclusive. They have console launch exclusives.
Yeah,
Chill out, Retro.
console launch exclusive.
Guys, listen. I mean, that's the big concern. It's like the Play Anywhere initiative is very pro-consumer. It's cool as fuck that I can buy a game, play it on my Xbox, and then pull out my laptop and play it on that too. But as someone who might care about the business side of things, and as a consumer, you shouldn't. But still, you shouldn't have to. But from like a business side of things, you're like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. I thought you wanted me to buy the Xbox One. I literally have no reason to get this thing now.
Exactly. Like, dude, I'm just watching Blu-rays on it. Just make a Blu-ray player from now on.
Really?
Robert,
that's what
I feel like Robert, like the
Blu-ray.
liquor in his system, and he's just gone now.
Nobody's gonna watch Blu-rays in 5 to 10 years. Like,
Oh shit.
that's gonna be a dead technology.
Well, then you know what? It's just like the Xbox then, so they could go.
Oh, you.
That's cool.
Robert has flipped the switch, y'all. I don't know what happened. Y'all better watch this man.
With the
He's on
switch.
fire tonight.
I would tell them.
You need to flip the switch on and play some more games. I had to do it. It was right there.
It's like you just presented it to me. What did you want me to do? Not take the chance? Someone's gonna take it. I guess I should have been prepared for that entirely. But yeah, I mean that's kind of just the issue with the Play Anywhere initiative. I guess. Well, I mean, okay. So just to kind of end it off, Play Anywhere initiative. Get rid of it or keep it, Robert.
Business side, get rid of it. Consumer side, sure, keep it. I guess.
Juice.
I'm kind of in the middle. I would say just get rid of it. Give people a reason to buy your system.
Okay. T.
Yeah, totally get rid of it because that's the main issue with Xbox. It's like exclusives.
Retro.
But they're not going to. But
Of course. Retro.
It's the same thing I also said. Like, why make it on? If it's on PC and it's on Xbox, it's not exclusive. And if it's not exclusive, nobody's gonna care. So get rid of it, or you're not gonna sell these systems anymore. I mean, they're already not really selling. Japan, like 40 people, like I said, bought it in Japan versus like 50,000 Switches. I mean, come on. There's a reason people don't buy it.
You're not lying. I understand. Clocked it.
Okay, before I answer this, I just want to give my quick thoughts on the whole Phil. If I met Phil Spencer thing.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
And first of all, I'd be like, hey Phil, how you doing? He'd be like, oh hey, I'd be like, yeah, I'd be like, Phil. And I just piss and North Star him.
Put your hands on him like this.
But then, but I feel like what they need to do the most is just evolve their games. They got the console. That's one thing they'll be taking across, the backwards compatibility and all these fancy stuff. They've got that nailed. The online is all great. Right? They're taking that across, but evolve their games because bought the shit of Halo and Gears. Let's do something different with Gears. Let's just go different. So evolve their games.
Like Gears Pop.
What's that? Yeah, exactly. Like, fuck me, no, not like that. But but in terms of the dropping the old play anywhere thing, yeah, I couldn't agree more. I feel like if you're gonna have a platform focused for video games, then let's make a video games console instead of trying to once again create this all around media console, which doesn't seem to have a focus. It just wants to be everything. And when you're everything, you can be the best at one thing. So it's yeah, just drop it. Next Xbox, everything on there, and let's just have some fucking games, man. And just take some risks. They got the money. If anyone can take risks, it's them. Just keep on trying.
I think I have to give Xbox some credit here. Xbox is the only company that would make consumers want them to get rid of a pro-consumer feature for the sake of their business.
Yeah.
I can't think of any company that has managed to do that.
It's just because they stretch themselves so thin. That's all. It's just we just want focus again. That's all we want. Focus. They had it with a 360.
So are we sacrificing this feature for the greater good? Is that what's going on here?
For the better of humanity.
Right now, it's needed.
For the better of humanity.
Jeez.
Jesus Christ.
Serious?
Yeah, like right, sacrificing babies. What the? Oh my goodness. Okay.
Phil Spencer.
Around more Phil Spencer. I don't know why it's so funny to me. It's hilarious. Oh my god, I'm dying.
It's all because it's fucking stupid. That's why it's funny. I feel like we've gone too far out. We've gone to the deep end, guys. Get the fishing pole, reel it back. God damn it. But I'll be real with you. Those were the two topics I really had. There wasn't really I think Juice mentioned it last week. There wasn't like a lot of news to really.
Well, we gotta cover the thing I teased last week at least.
Yeah, because you fucking said it and didn't want to bring it up. Let's go, baby.
I was gonna ask because Nintendo had said that they have more plans for content updates for Mario Kart 8. And at that time, that's all we knew. And I was gonna ask you guys, but I thought it was getting a little late in the podcast. Like, do you even want them to put more time and content into Mario Kart 8, or do you want 4 years in? It's time for a new game, in my opinion. And then a couple days later, I didn't say it because I didn't want to get into it. And then they announced the Breath of the Wild link and the that version of that cycle?
The Master Cycle. It's funny because when I first saw that announcement, the first thing I thought about was Terminator Juice. What would he think? Because we talked about a new Mario Kart 9 or something. Would that happen if with Mario Kart 8 doing so well again? I'm not sure now, man. I don't know.
Because it's like that Master Cycle and Link. That's a cool little addition. That's probably didn't take the whole staff or anything. But if they're thinking of like more DLC, I mean that's great knowledge. But I mean, you had 8 tracks, 16 tracks, whatever. It's still just the same game I've been playing for 4 years. I mean, yeah, I got 16 new tracks, but when I go online, what are the chances that those tracks are going to come up? I'll be playing all the same old tracks. I'm personally ready. 4 years in, 4+ years, I'm ready for the next game. So I'm hoping they're not planning anything major. But that's just me.
I would look too deep into this. I mean, and the update itself, I had a look, and it's just another skin for Link, and yeah, you get the Master Cycle and stuff. But I mean, it's such a small update just to give you an extra skill and extra extra cat is you know, it's almost nothing. I am
Yeah,
100% sure that we're gonna get a new Mario Kart on the Switch. I'm there. It's coming. It's coming.
When he said that, we didn't know. Like, he said they're still working on bringing new content. So,
don't forget about Labo features.
oh yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, these are small things. Just to push it just a bit more.
Push
but
what? The game is selling 8
How
million
about the
copies a
game?
week.
It's like an evergreen kind at this point. It don't make no sense to be doing all this.
They don't need to do
I mean,
anything.
yeah, but
I think
let's not forget though that Nintendo basically wrote off the 3DS. They made like 1 or 2 games in 2019, and like in the last 3 months they released like 5 new models.
Yeah, that's true. No, what I'll say though is that like that's one of the things that I've always thought is that like I mean not always, only in the past year that like why like Mario Kart 9. I think it's weird because like I don't know if there will be a Mario Kart 9. I mean there will be, but not for Switch.
yeah, because you got 8 selling probably well over 10, maybe 11, 12 million. At
yeah,
this
like
point.
how weird would it be if a Mario Kart 9 comes out, then it sells less than Mario Kart 8?
It almost has to be 2020 now.
Right? It's like, and it's weird, and very likely. I mean, what if it just? I mean, seriously, what if it sells less than Mario Kart 8 on its same platform? Because it would have years and years and years for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe to sell, and I think it's weird. I think it's super weird that there's even a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I don't think that should have even come out, to be honest. I think we could have just gone straight to Mario Kart 9, but like it's still super fucking bizarre that. There might not be a Mario Kart 9 for the Switch.
There's no way we are not getting a Switch exclusive Mario Kart. No way. No way.
They put themselves in a weird spot though with Deluxe because maybe they didn't think it would sell this well, and they're just like, hey, let's get Mario Kart out early, help with the sales. But the thing's outselling Mario Odyssey still like now, like weekly, and they haven't put out their numbers for the end of the last quarter, but I would be shocked if Mario Kart 8 Deluxe isn't the highest selling Switch game. So now they have this situation where maybe they thought Mario Kart 8 Deluxe would do okay and help push some sales, but then they'd have Mario Kart 9 ready to be the real Mario Kart, but this game just kind of keeps selling. So now it's like maybe they had plans for Mario Kart 9 in 2019 or something, but because the Deluxe is selling so well, maybe they rethink that.
I'm gonna throw out this idea, and I know this is based on a rumor, so I prepare to hear some groaning. But there was that rumor about that Star Fox Racing game, and maybe that might be part of the reason why they're not in a huge hurry to get out another racing game on top of, like, let's say that Star Fox rumor is true. I know this is. We're getting into that territory, but just humor me for a second. If that were to come out, let's say like mid next year, would you want like another racing game on top of that?
I don't hear the bullshit. I want my F-Zero. Fucking hell.
Well, okay, hey, listen. If you want to say Star Fox or F-Zero, it doesn't matter. If it was F-Zero next year, would you want another racing game on top of that?
Dude, I want at least a few races a month, yo.
It all depends on if this so-called Star Fox Racing does. Yeah, it depends what it does, but F-Zero is completely different than Mario Kart.
Okay,
completely different.
That's fine. I think what it's really turned into is that Nintendo has doubled down on this idea of constantly updating their games to the point now where it's almost like we don't need to put out a new one. Because I mean, what is it? We got our Octo expansion. Splatoon 2 has consistently gotten updates. They're doing updates for Mario Tennis. You have your apparently Mario Kart 8 updates for fucking the rest of this year, I'm assuming. I don't even know at this point. And then I can't imagine, Smash comes out. You hear some shit about that. It just I think okay. And I don't know if that's a problem. I don't think it's a problem, but it is kind of it puts you in a weird situation because then it's like, when are you going to stop working on the updates for this game and develop time for a new game entirely?
So here's the thing. If they did drop DLC, let's just say they dropped 8 new tracks for Mario Kart 8, 8 brand new tracks for Mario Kart 8. Yeah, dropped it for like £15, $19, whatever. would that sustain you then for the rest of the Switch lifetime?
No.
No.
And also, I'd be like, "Yo, why is this $20?"
Well, that is true.
Even if it had,
eight tracks
even if it had 4 new cups, 16 tracks, that's just save that for the Mario Kart 9. I mean, yeah, Mario Kart 8 is still a great game.
To be fair, that's a substantial amount of cups that has though.
Yeah, but then you still playing. It's still the same game with all, you know. The tracks are great. The game's still great, but I just save anything you're gonna do for Mario Kart 9. That's how I look at it. Let Mario Kart 8 be. Let it end.
You say that, but fucking Mario Kart 7 still sells on the damn.
Let's not have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe be on the Switch's successor. Let's just move on. It's a great game. It's sold really well on 2 systems. Now it's time to bring out the true next gen Mario Kart game. You know,
I would love that, but I just I see this game selling like 20 million, and Nintendo's like, what the fuck? How are we gonna sell another 20 million Mario? You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see them doing it.
That's why they'd have to. I mean, that's why they're in a situation.
Literally next year, like, comes out of nowhere.
Underestimating Mario Kart. You know, it's like saying, "Oh, we just done Wii Sports. You know, let's just keep on selling this because it's selling a copy with every fucking console." But then they release Wii Sports Resort, and you know, hey presto, and you know, it's all right to release a sequel to another game on the same console. I mean, the Xbox is a fucking master at that, right?
Yeah, but it's just weird because it's like
that's not an inspiration. So that's not the inspiration I want to follow.
I think they need to announce it sooner, though.
Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. You just do it. You get new ideas. And
yeah,
you
but no,
release
but
the
it's
damn
different
game
because
it's
different because like
it's not different.
No, okay, yes, it is, Clock. It's different because there's only been one per console. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like tradition. It's like if there was 2 Animal Crossing, I'd be like, what the fuck? What do you have a second Animal Crossing for? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it feels weird. It feels like I got violated, dude.
For sure. That this is new.
But this is what I don't like.
I don't know, man. We've had like 2 Zeldas on the same consoles. You know, we've had 2 Metroids on.
That's
fine. Metroids on the same consoles.
Yeah, but we don't have 2 Smashes in the same. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if there's 2 Smashes in the same console. I'd be like, all right, come on. Why is it 2 Smashes in the same console?
This is why I don't like this idea of all these Wii U games getting ported. Because let's say we got Mario Kart 8, you know, we got Mario Kart 8 DX now. Let's say they make new tracks, you know, and then a new system comes out from Nintendo in some years, you know. Then you're gonna get Mario Kart 8 fucking DXXX and shit with and all the tracks included, you know. That shit's gotta stop somewhere. So it's already going too far, I feel.
I think, honestly, it's my final thoughts on this. Announce Mario Kart 9 in the next Direct. Let people know there's a new Mario Kart game coming out. They've made their money and then some on Mario Kart 8 and Deluxe.
Yeah, they talk about how much money
let
they
people
made.
know, hey, if you're thinking of buying a new Mario Kart, you know, we got a new one coming out in 2019. That, to me, is what needs to happen, and I'm sure it won't.
I think that would be hilarious if they come out like,
to me, this
we
is
made
way
a lot
ridiculous.
of money. Please
Yeah, it's
stop
like
fighting.
we're updating Mario Kart 8. By the way, here's Mario Kart 9.
No, not even that. Imagine like he just comes out. He's like, listen, stop buying this fucking game, dude. We made it. Like, we made enough money, man. Right. We're trying to make 9. Stop buying it, please.
It's just like what Robert says. If Mario Kart 8, you know, let's say they announce Mario Kart 9 at E3 next year, which I wouldn't even bet money. Like, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe might be at 15, 16 million. And I get that you can put out another game, but the more for every copy of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe you sell, then you got somebody who's going to be like, I just bought Mario Kart 8. Like, I don't need another Mario Kart, another Mario Kart game. So I think it's just a weird situation for.
Yeah, it's almost like they're
franchise.
ignoring. It's almost like they're ignoring. Because think about it. For those who owned a Wii U, you've been playing this game since what, 2014, right?
Yeah.
But for like most people, they've been playing. But for people who are new to the Switch, I've been playing Mario Kart 8 since last year.
Yeah,
so
some people. It's a 2-year-old game. By the time they announce Mario Kart 9, they might be like, "Yeah, that's a little soon."
I don't know why you're thinking like this. It's at the end of the day, it's a sequel. It happens with every other franchise: Call of Duties, fucking Medal of Honors, Halos, whatever. Assassin's Creed. They all still sell. It doesn't matter if one's just been released. Yeah, at least Nintendo aren't releasing them every year. People still buy the next game, regardless of when.
Well, I mean,
the last
I
game
recognize
comes.
that. I mean, as a Pokemon fan, that's kind of what I deal with on a yearly basis. I recognize that we don't have to do that, but I guess Mario Kart isn't really that franchise that.
Usually it's like a 5-6 year. Well, I guess the handhelds are in between, so that's. I guess you could look at it as like that because the handhelds come out a couple years after the.
The handhelds is like a 3-year gap.
It's just what we've been used to, isn't it? I mean, this is what's beautiful about Nintendo, that the fact that you would normally get a game and you know you've gotten that, you know you're going to have that game for the whole console generation, right?
How about just dropping a different Nintendo
on,
staple racer? How about doing that, you know?
Diddy Kong Racing 2.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like
I said before.
Oh, I wasn't here. I'm sorry. I had to.
Well, that's the reason why I mentioned before. I made the idea of what happens if they drop like the Star Fox Racing or the F-Zero next year or some shit. Would you still want like another Mario Kart right after that?
I'd rather have Mario Kart. But
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I mean, it's a fun game. That's my favorite Mario Kart, I think.
If Nintendo drops Mario Kart, F-Zero, 1080 Wave Race all in the same month, I buy all those motherfuckers up like that.
Terrell, let me do it like this. Are you interested in buying a Dragon Ball Super for the Switch?
No, you mean fighters? Yeah. I'll buy fighters.
Yeah, okay. So why are you getting SNK Heroines then?
I see the argument you're making. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess
I think it's the genre
because I don't think racing
similar. They're more similar than F-Zero and Mario Kart are.
I don't know.
That's like saying why don't you skip Mario Kart because Crash Nitro Racing is coming? No.
Well, we got Sonic R coming, so we're.
Shut up! I don't want to talk about that.
That's a better one.
If someone talk about that, just cut that shit out.
And I'm not knocking Sonic R or Sonic Racing or anything like that. It's just that Mario Kart is Mario Kart. It's a kart racing game. It started the genre, but
I don't think racing games are in the same kind of like I could play 3 or 4 different fighters and get completely different feels from them, but like playing 2 different Mario Karts back to back, it's not really, it's not the same thing. Like that to me, those will feel similar, and it's like, well, I did just play this, especially because Mario Kart has a tendency of reusing a bunch of old tracks. So it's like, do I really want to play the Moo Moo Meadows for the 3rd time with just higher fidelity graphics?
That's funny because that's actually what hurt my enjoyment, at least, of Sonic and what is it called? Sonic and All Stars.
Racing Train.
Like because Mario Kart was out, I was like, I'm cool. I got Mario Kart now. Like I wasn't playing both at the same time, so there is.
I don't think racers work the same way. Like fighters to me, those are 2 different. That genre kind of lends itself because each fighting game has a different style.
Yeah,
I don't think racers have that same kind of versatility.
I think I'm with you on that.
Well, I think it's more so arcade racers, like it's like something like a Sonic and a Mario, but something like of F-Zero or a Star Fox Racer or whatever is probably gonna be very different from a Mario Kart. You know what I mean? I think so.
I guess it depends on the design of those games, really. Or Wave Racer.
I
think a better comparison would have been like comparing like Mario Kart to Burnout or some shit, where those are two different feeling kind of racers.
It just doesn't even make sense to me, Star Fox Racing. Like it doesn't bother me, but I don't understand what it's going to be.
To be fair, we're just in rumor with that shit anyway. So I mean that could just be nothing anyway. I'm just saying, for me personally, I don't really need a Mario Kart for Switch, I guess, at this point. Like I think
that's the negative. Well, that to some that'll be the negative side of putting out Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Right. I mean, that was our worry from the beginning.
I'm like dead ass. I think I'm gonna make a poll on Twitter. I'm curious how many people would want a Mario Kart 9 right now. Because I think if you're a Wii U owner, I bet you would probably want a Mario Kart 9.
Everybody will say they want it. I mean,
I would definitely say yes.
I mean, I wonder if you're a Switch owner and you never played the original Mario Kart 8,
That would be.
You still
should
want
put, yeah. You should definitely put that in the if you didn't play Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, are you content with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe?
That might change things significantly too.
Because that's my thing. Because like Nintendo recognizes that there's a bunch of new people picking up Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and like, do they really want another Mario Kart game when they literally just got one for them like a year ago? That's my thing, and I understand what Glock's saying that they release those pretty consistently. Like they don't need to. It's not that big of a deal. I'm just saying I don't know how many people are like, man, I really want that Mario Kart 9. If you're a Wii U owner, I would probably think you would. But if you're a Switch owner and you didn't own a Wii U, I'm like, I don't know if people cared that much. So I don't know. I do find that that is an interesting topic, dead ass, because I'm curious.
And if they're gonna put Mario Kart 9 on the Switch, it can't just have the same menus, everything in Mario Kart 8. Just have some.
Yeah, you essentially want like a whole new experience.
You gotta like, I mean, it's just
that's my worry is like, what are you gonna do to be significantly better, or content-wise, or whatever, that I would even care to be, or at least be enthusiastic about it. Like I'm gonna care. It's a new Mario Kart. I'm gonna care, but I want to be enthusiastic about a new Mario Kart, not just it's a new Mario Kart. I guess I'll buy it.
Yeah, because to be fair, Mario Kart 8 wasn't like most of the console Mario Kart games are like major shifts in style, but Mario Kart 8 was like the game that essentially just took the 3DS gameplay and just kind of tweaked it enough for a console, and it was like, oh, this is actually really fucking good. But it's like, what else can you really do? I guess at this point.
Maybe that's the problem.
That's the issue. That's why I would think it might be smarter to switch to a different racing franchise and give Mario Kart a break for a little while.
Yeah, that wouldn't be, it would be fantastic to bring a Diddy Kong back. People would go bananas. Get it?
You couldn't help yourself, could you? You knew it. God damn it.
But seriously, people would be really excited for a new Diddy Kong. Are you kidding me? Of course. So
okay, well
I'd be more hyped for Diddy Kong than Mario Kart.
I think I would too.
No,
well, here's the big question: would you prefer a Diddy Kong or an F-Zero?
Ooh, don't do that to me. Don't do that.
Oh, fuck off. I'm like,
Don't do that. Better say F-Zero because I mean,
it's
crazy that.
It's F-Zero by an
F-Zero
inch.
for me.
I think it's F-Zero by an inch.
I think I'd probably be more interested in a Diddy Kong. Dead ass.
It's just that Diddy Kong has a lot of different racing play styles, and it has like boss fights. Like that game was so awesome, man.
Have you transform, like you hit the water, you transform into a boat, and then you can go into a plane. Oh wait,
was it Spy Hunter?
Sonic transform.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
To be fair, Sonic All-Star Racing Transform was kind of an underrated gem. It just came out at the wrong time, dead ass.
And then
they
had
a learning curve on it too, I think.
Yeah, that game was harder than you would think it should be.
Yeah.
But fucking,
I know what I would want them to do if they would make a new Diddy Kong Racing. I want them to pull the same shit they did in the previous one and have these random ass characters in there, but have one of those characters be like something they're planning as a franchise or some shit. That would be so cool if they do that shit again. Like what they did with Conquer and Banjo, I think.
That before.
They did it.
They should just bring those Nintendo characters in that. Like from the 3DS, like Dylan and Box Boy and stuff like that.
Dylan, bruh. That shit makes me so sad, bruh. I was so mad because the last game that came out recently in May was good as fuck, and I'm like, this franchise ain't never gonna see the light of day again, bruh.
Oh, wait, what about Mano? Mano as well from Pull Blocks, all those funky characters, Yeah,
the 3DS ironically has a lot of weird IPs on it that like no one knows about. It feels like,
yeah.
But that would be that would be a good idea to do. Take Diddy Kong Racing and use it as your like indie push. And then let me get Shantae as a guest character because apparently I'm not gonna get her in Smash. God damn it!
But it's not gonna have Conquer in it.
I don't give a fuck about Conquer. Conquer was entertaining for one game, and then people played that remake and said, "Man, this is watered down as fuck."
The funny thing about
Tip Top in it though.
Tip Top, oh god.
All about Tip Top, man.
The funny thing about Conquer is it's not the Conquer we got in Conquer Bad Fur Day. That was the Conquer
No.
from
That was the Conquer
Lucky
before they
Turtles.
made that decision.
that was a nice happy Conquer before they changed so it's kind of
Didn't he have like
cool.
a GBA game or a Game Boy Color game before?
yeah, it was Game Boy Color game, yeah.
It's Game Boy Color game. It's
It
like
was Conquer Pocket Tales.
yeah, it's like let me go get my nuts and before the innuendo happened, and then it was like, now I'm an alcoholic. Oh, that's great. 10 out of 10. Best game ever. 10 out of 10.
There's still a part of me that wants Conquer's Quest.
You don't want it.
It'll never happen, but
You don't need it.
well, it's not gonna happen.
Well, that's true. I like how there's like no faith in that whatsoever.
I think you can get a ROM, partial ROM of it, the original code.
We'll resort to stealing it first, y'all.
But yeah, Nintendo don't like that. They'll get you.
I'm gonna take your shit before you have the chance to ruin it. Because they will ruin it. All right, I think we've covered our topics. I think we've said all we can say, and then tomorrow they'll announce a direct, and I'll be angry as fuck that we did this podcast early. Anywho, let's do some final thoughts. We're gonna start with T Juice, Grandpa Juice, Rocket Ball Juice, because you don't play nothing else.
I played a little Hollow Knight this weekend and Splatoon.
What?
I'd heard
Heard
I
nothing.
think it was
of this.
Ruby that if you picked Team Octoling, you got to play as an Octoling, but I don't think I could not find an option to play as an Octoling. So I played like 3 matches and maybe 4 matches and called it quits.
Wait, what? I thought it was automatic. That's how they promoted it.
I picked Octolings and I could not find an option to within the game. I didn't want to have to look it up. It should have been something I could find if it was there. But it's Splatoon 2. It just doesn't do anything for me anymore. So I mean, I did all right. But
it's like that wife that you don't talk to anymore.
I didn't even care to see who won. Honestly, I just don't care anymore. But at least the motion controls work on like Fortnite's fucking trash.
Jesus. Oh, side note, real quick, before for the rest of the and Juice, you're included, for all the final thoughts, name a waifu. Before you're done, name a
waifu.
And just any waifu anyone. Just pick
Does
one.
that have to be? Is a waifu only animated?
No, I mean they can be real because I know how you are and I know who you're gonna pick. And I'm gonna flip a fucking table
There's
to
a
find
couple.
you.
I'll stick to like anime or video game characters.
You won't do it.
But
Fine.
I'll think of one as.
But I know what you're thinking about. That's what pisses me off. I know the real life one you're referring to.
There's a couple.
Of course.
But anyway, yes, I still play a lot of Rocket League, and just for whatever reason, ever since I watched the pro tournament, the RLCS season 5, it's all I can think about. It's all the YouTube videos I watch, pretty much, other than when Clocked puts out a review or T puts out a video, I watch those. But anyway, there's a movie coming out tomorrow that's video game related. On Blu-ray, Ready Player One hits tomorrow.
Yeah.
Super excited. I haven't been this excited for a Blu-ray since I mean, before BVS would probably be my last one I was excited for, but before that was maybe Avatar. Was the last time I was this excited to purchase a Blu-ray.
My son's been asking me every day, when is it coming? When is it coming? He's super
you could have had it digitally like 3 weeks ago. You could have bought it digital, but I'm like,
you gotta get that physical copy.
I want the behind the scenes, man.
And just the audio quality is way better on Blu-ray. So if anybody hasn't seen that, that's still my top movie of the year. And if VR could ever get to that, I'd be considered, like, I would be all about it. It looked pretty.
I'd be 800 pounds.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, some people didn't like some of the romance in the movie and stuff. Felt it was a little forced, but it's a really enjoyable movie, and it's like my buddy who plays World of Warcraft. He's like, it's the best like representation of what I've lived for the last 10 years in World of Warcraft. Like, and he just felt so like like it should have been World of Warcraft.
That's awesome.
You know, as the main thing because it's like that's how his friends, most of his friends, that's how he's met, how he met them and stuff. So great movie. Can't wait. Buying the Steelbook edition from Best Buy, and yeah, so that's it. Good podcast.
Waifu, damn it.
And, oh yeah, waifu. Shit. I don't really spend too much time thinking about anime or fake women. So
Fake women.
I honestly, I guess Zelda. I'll just cop out and pick an easy one.
Yeah, listen, I told you could pick real life women.
Real life women. That'd probably be Pamela Horton.
Yeah, I fucking know. Piece of
Yeah.
shit.
She's my
This
girl.
dude goes back and forth with Pamela Horton. It's so hilarious. It's like they're in a real relationship.
Is she come off as this huge Nintendo fan. She cried when she met Miyamoto, but she never talks about Nintendo. Any big news comes out, she doesn't ever talk or ever tweet about it or anything. It's just weird. But
And he would know because he follows her.
And
thoroughly.
so that's it for my final thoughts. And hashtag everybody poops.
Yeah, I could have sworn that was used before.
Nice.
Okay, next, Robert.
Okay, so
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, I was not ready.
how you guys doing?
Ready? Okay.
I'm very excited for Ready Player One. It was a
Bet you are.
fantastic movie.
Didn't like it enough, I don't think.
What, dude? I would give it like a 9.5, man.
Man, you were way more excited for way shittier movies.
What? It's my right now. It's like my number 4 movie of the year still.
Number 4,
Dude, I've seen
I'm not even gonna ask you.
I've seen
Go
like
ahead.
60 something movies, dude. That's pretty damn good.
And 59 of them were trash.
Yeah, I'll admit there's not a lot of them that were that great. But you know, life moves on, and but yeah, so I'm gonna continue to chip a tiny bit at Octopath Traveler.
We're not gonna play the
You
fucking
can't play
game.
the game like that, man. You have to get in, man. You
Yeah,
gotta-
but
I know.
it's an
Dude, it's
experience.
hard to get in, and then like tomorrow we're working.
It's very easy to get in.
You just can't pull out.
That's what she said.
Here we go.
Oh my goodness.
Do you want me to say my waifu?
Yeah, go ahead. I already know who it is. We all know who it is.
What? I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows.
Wait, who do you think my waifu is?
No, we know who your real life one is.
Oh, my real waifu. Yeah, I can't say.
Hey, listen,
I can't
don't do
say.
it.
He's not listening, but
I
not the
can't say,
point.
but that's my real waifu. And then
All right.
and then
Anyway.
that's just my waifu. We'll just keep it at that.
Wow.
And but my fictional is that's how you say it, right? And
Fictitious.
Yeah.
Fictional is the
You're
word
trying to
you
read books
oh, yeah,
and
my
shit.
fictional. Duh, I can just say fictional. God damn. My fictional waifu would probably be there's a lot, to be honest. I would plow a lot.
Just pick one, damn it.
Goddamn.
I'm gonna say fuck it, let's go with
Do that. Okay, next.
Zero Suit Samus.
I'm gonna change mine to Artemis from Ready Player One.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Next. I don't know how worse this can get. Blocked it. Take your best shot.
Oh shit! What are we doing? Final thoughts, right?
Did you forget?
I get distracted by fucking hang-ons, right? Fucking, right. Yeah, I don't have much to say. Loving Octopath. One game I am desperate for to come to the West is Taiko Drum Master.
Oh yeah, there's been rumors about that one.
Yeah, there's rumors that it's coming, but I saw some guy open up like the actual box peripheral with the drum and stuff. And one thing I either forgot and I didn't know is that my friend reminds me was that they were the same guys who created Donkey Konga. So I want that drum on the Switch and stuff. But anyway, I'm done. Great podcast. I think it was a good discussions. And my waifu is, without a shadow of a doubt, this is a fictional one, is Major Motoko Kusanagi from Ghost of the Shell.
What version?
More the standalone complex version.
Okay,
than
good.
the actual movie one. But yeah, I mean, the standalone complex Kusanagi was just as, for me, she's just like female, just one of the best female characters just ever. I absolutely fucking love her. So
I got another one too. Azula from Last Avatar, or Last Airbender. Avatar.
I should just let Juice go. I feel like you
crazy
should have just went last. This man is coming up with one every time. Fucking T. Let's go.
Fucking T.
Yeah, fucking T. Fucking T. Sweet T. I went from the UK. We got to talk about the T.
Excellent. Excellent podcast, fellas. Especially the Xbox talk. It was very enlightening. It was fun. And I don't really have a lot to say, so I'll just go into my wife, who is in the next room. I married her already, so.
Oh, she's standing right behind you.
She's nowhere around me. I'm not doing that. Trying to
Get the fuck out of here, man.
She's got a knife to your throat. Now you best tell me.
I couldn't ask for a better waifu. So
turn the goddamn camera on.
The wife,
I'm that corny ass dude with the.
I thought
t-shirt.
you were just saying you were one of those. I'll say it off air.
Yeah. Don't have me whoop your ass. I'm that corny ass dude. Who wears a t-shirt. Or she has a t-shirt. World's #1 wife. That corny ass shit.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah,
I just puked in my mouth.
I really can't think of anybody else. So
listen. All right. Listen.
I got another one.
See, Jesus Christ.
Oh, jeez. This is his segment right here.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, Juice.
Judy Hopps.
Oh shit!
What was that reaction, Robert?
All right, go wash it. Go wash your hands now, and come back.
Hey, listen, I said at the beginning of the podcast, first, welcome. Fuck it, we're good. We're covered.
Oh wait, I have a real Princess Mononoke from.
Oh, you bastard.
Mononoke.
Right.
Sorry.
I know it's all right.
She's
fine.
She's nice.
I should just let you go on last. Jesus Christ. Retro. Jesus.
Okay. What a great podcast. We should send it to Phil because I'm glad we were able to save Xbox so that they can finally start doing good again. The last game I played was Octopath Traveler, which everybody should be buying. Actually, everybody is buying it. That's why nobody can find it anymore, which is just a godsend of a game. But we talked enough about that already, I feel. So I just instantly skipped to my wife when, man, I'm kind of like Robert and Terrell. I'd fuck almost anything, so I'd keep it very recent.
Whoa.
I'll keep it.
My man.
I recently learned that
You think I'm wearing headphones?
one of my waifus, she likes to suck dick, so I'll go with Primrose.
What? What?
Jesus Christ. I was not.
Way to go, Terrell.
My apologies.
I didn't think. Oh.
My
I
apologies.
can't talk.
Ruby, I'm sorry for
I was not
retro
prepared.
desk.
I didn't think y'all were going to
Can't one of my waifus be like the Grand Theft Auto prostitutes because they're prostitutes.
Robert. I should have known. Ironically enough, the two worst people out of this so far has been Juice and Robert. How the fuck? I should have known better. All right, let me just wrap up and we'll be done with it. We'll put a condom on it and we're good.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me host, Juice, even though you only did it because you had nothing to talk about. But I appreciate the time and effort anyway. I gotta throw some shade. It's fine.
You're throwing under the bus.
It's all in the.
Well, people really like the alternating hosts, so I've kind of figured to get back to that. So next week it'll be T or Clocked It, whoever wants to do it the most.
It'll be the war. It'll be the war of the Africans. That's what it'll be.
What the? Damn.
As you can see, folks, I'm gone as well. One thing I did want to mention, apparently the Dragon Ball Fighters for Switch has a beta coming out in August, so that's something to look forward to. Hopefully we get a direct or announcement of some maybe within the next few weeks. Oh, I'm thinking next week, but we'll see. And I guess for my waifu, I'm gonna pick an actual anime here. My Hero's been on some good shit lately, so I'm gonna pick my girl Suyu. I fuck with the girls who are like frogs. I don't give a damn. Also, last episode, she had hair in a bun and it was cute as fuck. I'm done, son. I'm dead. I will link pictures later, and then I will get arrested for pornography. So that's besides the point.
So what happens when a deviant hosts the podcast?
Hey man, you can't say shit, Mr. Oh, I can't think of one. Then like 4 or 5 girls later, I got home. I figured it out what I like. It's besides the point. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for enjoying. We'll see you next week. It's a game, play to win, and we'll catch you guys later. Peace. Oh.